And welcome back to AMX 1 Season 4, Race 27, here at Bristol Motor Speedway with the NASCAR Xfinity class. Car class that we're very familiar with, but before we do get into it, we can introduce ourselves and get ourselves kicking off. My name is Damon, and I'm joined here, of course, by my friend here, Connor Nixon. And,
Hello.
We've got a banger today. Bristol, very short course, so there's going to be a lot of laps. So kind of looking forward to it, just to see how long these drivers can last.
Yeah, for sure. Should be quite interesting. I thought we were going to go to housekeeping. My apologies. But yeah, it should be interesting. Short track. Cars are very powerful around here, so yeah, it should be quite interesting for sure. But yeah, my apologies, I'm off cues already, so you can see where my head is at, complete nowhere. So yeah.
Don't worry about it. I think we're just getting ready to get really into the action. Of course, AMX was cancelled last Tuesday, unfortunately, due to iRacing having to deploy a hot fix. So we're making it up with today. So you can check our socials down below. Instagram, Twitch, X formerly known as Twitter, Discord, our YouTube. You can sign up to race on our website down there at amxrace.com, and short form content will be available on TikTok. Now, before we get into qualifying, of course, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping, as we always do here on AMX. So, our Global League Season 4 overview, it started running on January 27th and will run all the way until April 21st, which is about 2 weeks from now. So you don't have that many races left. Prize pool of about $20,000 US plus some next level gear. Our race format goes as follows. We have a 20-minute qualifier before every session, and then the fastest times from the qualifier will be arranged in reverse grid order for the first heat, and then the results from heat 1 will then be shuffled into reverse grid order again for heat number 2. So it keeps the front of the grid pretty fresh, all things considered. Driver cams are, of course, required for both AMX 1 and AMX 10. Payout balances over $100 will be paid out every month, and our race days are on Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can sign up to race anytime at amxrace.com. Our schedule is, of course, following Greenwich Mean Time, so the times are synchronized. We will start at 5:50 p.m. on Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, and AMX 10 will then follow suit at 7:20 p.m. on all 3 days as well. Now, the AMX 1 prize pool is as follows. First place for qualifying Heat 1 and Heat 2 will get $7, and it goes down in smaller and smaller increments all the way up until 15th place. For Heat 1 and Heat 2, the fastest lap will be getting a bonus of $1 as well. So we have a total of $100 to give away per race. And now you can see our top 12 on the leaderboards right now is Diego Villarreal de Leon, a very consistent performer, has participated in almost every AMX 1 race we've had. Hasn't won one of them overall, but because of his consistent performance, he is standing at the top of the leaderboard right now with $141.35. Mauricio Lozano, not that far behind, in fact, only about $1.75 behind him, with Facundo Rago in third, Lois Renier on fourth, Gerardo Ramos, Connor Healy, Simon Seminara, Lucas Verla, Lautaro Gayoso, Leo Mora, Nico Godoy, and Santiago Barrios rounding up the top 12. But the most important one is the current season leaderboards. And as you can see right now, Gerardo Ramos has made it into the top 10. So he's going to be pretty happy with that. Leo Mora still in 9th. Mateus Mercado in 8th. Kevin Garcia in 7th. I think he was supposed to commentate today, but he couldn't make it due to being a little bit ill. Roman Pascucci is in 6th. Fabrizio Belziti in 5th. Diego Villarreal in 4th. He needs a race win, more than a few race wins in order to make it up the grid some more. Lautaro Gayoso in 3rd, Connor Healy in 2nd, and our current leader of the season is Facundo Rago with a very, very clear, nearly 30-point lead over 2nd place. So now I'm going to hand it over to Connor to talk about the cars and the track.
Thank you, Damon. Now, the moment we're waiting for, the moment I wait for every time on here, and this is the car track combo for this evening for AMX 1. Bristol Motorsport, Motor Speedway. My apologies. USFA, we've been here heaps this last month or two, really smashing the US tracks. Opened in 1961, just under a K worth of a track, so nice and small, short track racing, which we haven't really seen too much over these last couple of races at the oval tracks. We've been more at the big ovals like your Indianapolis, your Daytona, Talladega with the 86s. So yeah, it's good to be back in a small track, and it should be quite good for these drivers to get around here and use a lot of braking. Now to our car, which this is my favourite car, hands down. I've been driving it for the last, I think, month or two, nice and hard. So this is the Xfinity car. Very, very powerful car. Normally a lot of people drive the truck, which has got a lot less power than this. This one's got 650 horsepower. It's rear-wheel drive like every Nascar in the whole of iRacing at the moment. I don't think they'll ever go front or all-wheel drive. They'll always stay at rear, and 1,500 kilos with a 4-speed manual gearbox, which these drivers will have to be very sharp with. If they miss a gear, they'll lose seconds on the start, so they've got to be nice and quick with those safety car restarts, which I'm sure we won't see a lot of, but should be a good little track car combo for this evening.
All right, thank you very much, Connor. And now we're gonna jump straight into qualifying. Now, yes, we've mentioned Bristol is a very, very short track, so these drivers will be around in less than 20 seconds, just about 15 seconds per lap. So, very short track, very steep bankings. So I've never been here. You have a lot of experience with this. You can tell me exactly what the challenge is in a circuit like this.
Yeah, so around here, Damon, you just want to keep it in fourth gear. Most of the time, you're not really going down through the gears unless you're going under a yellow or on a restart, which is normally second gear in this car. But you just want to keep it in that banking, stay low the whole time. You can use the top a little bit when you're trying to get around someone just to get the run on them down the back straights. But you just really want to stay in fourth gear, keep it nice and low. I think you use a little bit of braking into the corners when the tyres start to go off, but you can pretty much roll the car in and maybe a dabble of brake, like I said, when the tyres go off. But yeah, it's an awesome track. I mean, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, it definitely lends itself to, I think we're going to see a lot of close contact racing. Of course, we only have about 5 drivers on the grid right now. Again, no sign of Gerardo Ramos today. He also didn't join us for AMX 1 on Tuesday, a race that sadly had to be cancelled after Heat 1 due to technical issues. But right now we can see the regulars are here, of course, with the exception of one, Josh Pervin. I don't think I've seen him before. I don't know if you have. He's probably
that's a new name for sure.
Oh, all right, that's interesting to see that. So relatively latecomer into the AMX season, won't be really in contention for the leaderboard, but will be interesting to see how he performs among these races that we know can perform. Speaking of which, we've got a pretty even spread of cars on the grid today. We have 2 Toyotas, 1 Ford, and 2 Chevrolets. My money is still on the Supra just because I like how odd it is compared to the rest of the cars on the grid. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was going to say the Supra is definitely on the top of my list. That's what I drive. I find that I guess it's my team's livery right now, but it's slide there from Diego there, huge slide in out of turn 2 there. But yeah, the Supra is definitely the car choice for me. H36 Diego is, and driving for SART, which we've seen that team getting around quite a bit recently in AMX and over the last couple of months, really.
Yeah, and it's been interesting to track their progress as well. We mentioned before, Diego Villarreal, very consistent performer, always finishing in the relatively top half of the leaderboard, but hasn't been able to eke out an overall win yet in AMX 1 this season. You can see he just goes a bit wide there. Have to be really careful when you're taking that banking, because anytime you track off the line, you seem to just bottle it. As again, Gayoso does the same thing in the middle of the banking. Looking at the timing boards right now, you can see Connor Healy and Gayoso actually have the exact same qualifying time. So it'll be interesting to see how they translate to real race performance for these two drivers. We've seen Connor Healy, he's more or less driving on his own, while Gayoso does have his teammate Facundo Rago here to assist in certain maneuvers, especially on ovals like this where drafting is so important. The teamwork is there for these two drivers. And that brings me to my next question, is that how important is drafting here? Because this is not a drafting track, this is a short track.
Yeah. Obviously, being a short track, like you mentioned, it's more about we've been at Martinsville recently for the Nascars, and that's a lot of braking. But around here, I guess the main thing, which is quite boring. So you're just getting loose out of two there. It's keeping the tyres under you. We mentioned that at Indianapolis massively with this car, is keeping the rear tyres on the back of it. Connor Healy using all the tyres there, but Rygo got around too, but these boys are not allowing me to get a word in. But it's keeping the rear tyres on the back of the car. It's keeping in that bottom groove as much as you can. But like I said, you don't really touch the brakes, so it's kind of a weird one. We go to tracks like Barnesville or Indianapolis where you're using a lot of brake. Around here, it's more momentum in those rear tyres, which is quite different. And I think everyone enjoys it when they do come to Bristol, though.
Yeah, so these cars aren't going to be going around particularly fast, right? Conservation of momentum is going to be key, as well as tire wear management. And we've already seen last week or last couple of weeks where tire wear does play a really big factor, especially in the later stages of the race. How would you reckon the best way to keep your tires safe on a track like this?
Like I said, another boring answer, but it's more just trying to get no wheel spin. So what I kind of mean by that is obviously no slippage of the tyres. So in a GT3, obviously a lot of drivers know when you're mid-corner, you're trying to get the car to slip on exit. With these cars, you can see here, we're running on board by one of our drivers. And this is Rago. I had to find the name. But you can watch his steering input nice and gently on the entry. Now watch him on the exit, nice and smooth, keep it smooth, and straightens it out as quickly as possible and puts his foot down. And that's what you kind of want to be on, kind of Healy on a purple sector. And goes pole. Awesome time there. But that's going to be a hard one to beat. But I guess it's just keeping that wheel straight as possible and just not slipping your tyre as much as you can. And you can see here Connor Healy doing a really good job, one of the Altus boys. Big news from their paddock this week. Simon Fugel out of the Altus family, the man that started it all. So big change for those boys.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we've figured out that tire wear is important. You want to avoid losing control of the rear wheels, losing traction. And on a track where the cars aren't going particularly fast and they've got a lot of power, you don't want to overcook the throttle, as we see Rago there, just overworking that throttle on the exit and then just slipping. So again, Connor Healy on another purple sector. Will he be able to beat his time? Now he taps the wall. That's unfortunate that he will have to end up sacking that lap, but he's still in a pretty comfortable spot to be finishing in first place. Also will be starting near the back of the grid for Heat 1, so he's going to be in a pretty comfortable position. And when you're starting from the back of the grid, in a track like this, it's super short, it's super tight, there's going to be a lot of close contact racing. I'm probably going to be expecting maybe more than a few instances of contact.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting that too. But we were talking about staying at that bottom line. Using that top line, you could run a lot of momentum up the top there. So I'm kind of thinking in the back of my head, maybe the top line for the race could be the way to go, because if these guys go too wide, if you can keep that momentum up the top, which the Cup cars use that a lot around here. Diego there just smacking the wall and out of 4, but it's... Yeah, if you can use that top line and keep that momentum, that could be a big key here for tonight as well.
Yeah, but again, as we've just seen, as they're running out of the banking, off the corners, into the big straight, going towards the lane wall, it's going to be quite tricky for them as well. If they're deciding to go on the top line, it could end up in a position where they can't get the best exit out, and then they just end up careening into the barrier.
Yeah, 100%. It's it's gonna be an interesting night and a fun night, and obviously we're getting AMX 10 after this. Rago on screen. Sorry, not stream. I'm thinking of my streaming platform. But age 25, young whippersnapper. I'm not even near that age yet, so fingers crossed I make the 25. But Rago killing it out here. He's been consistent, hasn't he, Damon? Like, he's just been always there, not really fluffing around. He's just been always up the front and just doing well, putting some points in and getting some money.
Yeah, and he's been really good at working together with his teammate Gayoso there in order to secure 1-2 positions for both of them. Both of them drivers, of course, have in fact gotten first on multiple occasions, especially on NASCAR tracks. So it's going to be interesting to say the least whether or not their strategies will work out this time around. These other drivers don't really have that luxury, so interesting to see. And I'm reading for the comments right now. Going to be a crash fest today. Well, let's hope it's not too much of a crash fest, because we want these races to be finishing, right? Aside from that, another comment just wrote, isn't Bristol in England? Well, funny story about that. There are actually 2 Bristols, one in the colonies and one in the UK.
I didn't know there was one in the UK. That's a shock to me.
It's this Toyota Corolla. No, it is in fact the Supra. If you take a closer look at the front end, you will see later on it is the Supra front end and the Supra taillights, which is a very familiar sight to see. Very unique car. It's not really doesn't really fit the body, but you know, if it looks good, it should work well. And we've got about 90 seconds left in qualifying, so last chance for these drivers is that their fast laps in, and Diego Villarreal, you can see there, is going a bit high and then dipping back into the low part of the banks to come out of the exit, and then he just overcooks it. You really, really have to be careful of the lines you take there, so we're probably going to see a lot of scrapes.
Yeah, I reckon we'll see a few dings on the side of the car by the end of the race. I mean, you were here for Talladega, weren't you, for the 87s? Was that someone else?
Yeah. No, it was me.
I had to double check because I was like, I know you've been here for like 80% of the oval stuff, but I was like, I'll just double check. But you remember that massive crash we had on, I can't remember lap, but it was probably one of the biggest crashes we've had, when like there was 4 cars just flying across the track. That was amazing to watch, but hopefully it doesn't happen here, because obviously the track's so small. I mean, it's not the LA Coliseum, but it's close to it.
Yeah, if it does end up in a situation like that, we're probably going to see like a whole lap where these cars are just going to be sitting in the pits waiting for repairs, and it's not really great racing. As Conor Healy, again, I don't think he has time for another lap. He hasn't been able to improve. Actually, he has improved his last time by 0.006 of a second. So again, very comfortable position for Conor Healy. Just need him to translate that to race results later on, so he'll have to fend off Gayoso and Rago, who will be starting ahead of him for Heat 1. As now we're coming into Heat 1, of course, it is a rolling start for a track like this, so getting off the line, not really a big of a deal, but the start is still going to be important for these drivers.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be all about that momentum. Connor Healy taking our session winner, Ben Q. He's been on form. We saw him at the start of the season, Damon, really competitive, but he's kind of dropped back in the points. But it looks like he's coming back strong in the pole position.
Yeah, I think that might have something to do with the fact that his closest competitors on these particular sections is Gayoso and Rago, and they're always working together to make sure they can get the best performance out of each other for races like this. So Connor Healy working on his own doesn't have that luxury. He's going to have to drive much harder than these two drivers in terms of trying to achieve the results he wants. And well, there's nothing else to it. We're going to go to the parade lap right now. As Heat 1, you can see the safety car is out on the field right now. I'm going to take these drivers around one instance. And again, the most interesting thing we're going to see is the battle between Connor Healy and Gayoso as well as Rago. But we also want to see how well Josh here performs.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just saw the team that he was a part of. Josh, Slipstream Autosport, they've actually been a team coming out of Australia. They've been kind of lurking around. They won the Daytona 24 the start of the year. And they've been kind of floating around with my old team and in the splits and stuff. So, yeah, it's good to see them getting into AMX. I think they might have caught wind because I've said it on a podcast recently, so it's good to see the boys rocking up and having a go. So should be good fun to see what Josh can do.
All right, they're wrapping back around. I think they're about to hit the start-finish straight, or I could be mistaken. Yeah, there it is. Well, it's going to be a really tough thing to call. We have 77 laps, so we're probably not going to remember what lap incidents happened. That would be left up to the stewards later to decide if there are any incidents that happen. But yeah, they're about to head off now. We're kicking off AMX 1, race 27 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Whew. The tension, you can cut it with a butter knife.
Oh, for sure. It's kind of weird, Damon. We're getting close to the end of the season. How do you feel about it? Because I'm kind of like, we're going to go green now. Apologies there. Josh getting not a great launch, so Diego's going to get the run down to turn 1. He's going to get the run, and Josh is still there. I said about that top line being very fast, and Josh taking the lead just like that. Connor Healy's still in the back. Hasn't made a spot up yet. I think he's going to do his own old tricks and just sit at the back and kind of wait for these guys to mess up a little bit. Josh taking the fastest lap time there too. But good start for Josh.
Yeah, definitely taking the top line really paid off for him early on, but we have to see if he maintains that lead because there are a couple of cars right behind him waiting to see if he'll make a mistake. He's got laser focus right now. You can see on the screen in the player cams right now. And he's sitting actually quite close to the steering wheel. I'm kind of not used to seeing someone like with their arms bent that close to the steering wheel.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of drivers. I know a couple of guys in Australia like to keep their stuff nice and close. But yeah, that's mighty close if I've ever seen it. But it's close, but he's doing well, so I'm not going to knock it. Rago on board now. Talking about steering position, I love that steering wheel, by the way. I think he's actually got an MPI steering wheel from the looks of it. It's actually one of my dream steering wheels to have on the rig, so that's on the bucket list. So send it over, Rago. On the back of Diego at the moment. Just cruising around, and Diego there just... I feel like he's trimmed the beard, by the way. I want to mention this before we go any further, because I thought it was a lot bigger, but it looks like we can see more of his face now, which it's good to see.
Yeah, he definitely had a shave. I think he had a haircut as well, just keeping it nice and clean. So good on him. He looks really good with that. And here goes Bravo making a move on to Diego. He tried to go high but couldn't hold the momentum. Gayoso makes it past as well. And we're still 8 laps in. Diego doesn't want to concede his position right now, but Connor Healy again is waiting for the attack. He'll probably go high within the next couple of corners to see if he can make the pass because he doesn't want to stay behind Diego for too long. Meanwhile, Gayoso and Arago are doing the thing where they're trying to keep themselves working together in order to catch up to the front of the pack, but Josh is just pulling away, almost 1.5 seconds ahead.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's not wasting any time, and it looks like he's coming to grips with the car pretty quickly as well. Connor Healy straight up the inside. We just saw that move get done. And he's going to cruise straight past him. Connor Healy always looks... We were talking about hair before, by the way. It looks like Connor Healy, like, his hair never grows. It just looks like it stays the same, and it stays the same shape, by the way. I'm just gonna start noticing about people's hair now. You know, why not?
I mean, it's a bit late in the season for that. I mean, realistically speaking, you've got about 2 weeks left.
Is it, though, at the same time, though? Maybe. Yeah, maybe next season we'll see the growth of hair, and we'll see when they get haircuts. Because I know mine gets bushy, then I get a haircut, and everyone's like, oh, got a haircut. And it's like, yeah, well, had to. Connor Healy, though, in P4, he's doing this strategy we've seen him do for the last, I'd say, since the start almost. He's just kind of cruise around, doesn't really do much, but we get to the last couple of laps in these strikes right then and there. And he won. We got quite a few laps, 77 laps, so quite a bit of a hike for these guys for Heat 1. So should be. We'll have to settle in and get our cups of coffee ready and get ready for this long race.
Yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, 77 laps on the track, that takes about 15 seconds per lap. You're probably going to be done in about 20 minutes, which is par for the course for AMX1 anyway. But it does feel like a lot when you drive within, because we've only been here about, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and we're already in lap 16. So, it's going to be a bit of a tall ask to see whether or not Connor makes the move and when he'll decide to make the move, of course, because you can't hold it until the last 2 or 3 laps because you don't have that much time if you wait until then. So it's probably going to be like the last 10, maybe 15 laps where you decide to make an attack. As meanwhile, in front, Josh is still holding that lead very consistently despite the teamwork from Rago and Gayoso. Meanwhile, Connor Healy is also in the back. That drafting isn't going to pan out quite as successfully as it has on the longer tracks, which is Connor Healy an opportunity to make a move early, and you can see the onboard shot of Gayoso's rear bumper cam, the gearbox cam, as I'm more inclined to call it, is what I'm told it's called. But yeah, you can see Connor Healy is still hounding the back of him right now. That blue and purple gradient Supra, waiting for an opportunity to try. And yeah, you did mention Connor Healy likes to bide his time for opportunities, and that is also true for the other AMX1 races that he's been in. A lot of the times when he's out in front, he usually ends up in incidents that put him at the back of the pack. So trying to play it safe maybe for this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I actually haven't seen his Tuesday races that he's ever done, so watching these ones, I've always just seen his NASCAR ones, and look, like it's such a tyre thing for these NASCARs. You don't really want to burn the tyres up too quickly. So I think his strategy's always been just kind of sit there, just let them burn their tyres up. Then they'll just come straight back to him. And look, most of the time it's been working. You can see Josh really using the tyre though, using that midline. It's got to use a lot of tyre sitting up there. You want to get nice and low and keep that tyre nice and cold, because yeah, the moment you kind of get that midline as well, I forgot to mention that, you start to just get this weird tyre wear, which is never fun, but we'll see how that tyre wear ends up, and we should have a good little battle at the end, because we've got Rago, Gayoso and Connor Healy in a little pack, so should be good. We'll see if Josh drops back, but I think he kind of is, because those three are just sitting there and working together, and it looks like they've caught about 2/10 on him at the moment, so should see that time drop lower and lower through the stint.
Yeah, and it's interesting to mention the tire wear when, depending on the lines that you take. So maybe he's trying to gain as much of lead as possible before he ends up inevitably slowing down and letting the cars behind him catch out. You can see that Josh on your screen almost looks like he green screened himself in front of a beach, but I'm not too sure about that. 21 years old, driving for. Wait. Wasn't it a different team? Hang on, let me double check. Yeah. Slipstream Autosport, yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
I was going to say, I was like, Slipstream Motorsport, because I think I've seen his name under Slipstream in other Australian leagues, so I think we'll go off that for now, because it's SDK, but yeah.
Right.
Sorry I interrupted, but I was like, I've committed, I've got to keep talking.
No worries. I think it's quite a bit difficult for us to like go back and forth between each other because latency differences. But aside from that, I think doing a pretty good job of it so far. It's not like we really have anything to talk about right now because everyone's actually keeping it really clean. We haven't seen any major hiccups or incidents. In fact, these cars are tightening up their lines, making sure that they don't end up in the barrier because you don't want to slow yourself down when conservation of momentum is so important. You can see here, Rago, we're on board Rago right now, and he's about 1.5 seconds behind Josh, but from here, it doesn't look like that gap is particularly large.
No, it doesn't really, does it? It's actually not too bad. I just had a look at iRacing, by the way. Josh has actually got a really good iRacing for Oval. I know Oval spans across a lot of series, IndyCar, NASCAR, and everything else, but he's 3.6k on Oval, so he knows what he's doing. So we could see this top line come into effect. The rubber could be moving up, but I wouldn't think it'd be moving up that quickly, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, so far, they're all really in comfortable positions. They're all in their own little bubble. We could talk about some other stuff, but mine is drawing blanks right now because we're not really particularly focused. I can probably take a look at some of the comments and see what they're asking right now. Driver Cam's asking what engines are in those cars. Well, they're big block V8s, as is tradition for American cars. Is that shirt a Photoshop? I can't answer that for you because I don't know for sure either.
I think so. Oh, look, I don't know. I mean, it'd take a lot of effort to Photoshop, but I mean, if you want to go to that extent, you can go to that extent. I know I need to change my photo on AMX. Mine's hideous, but I haven't been bothered to change mine, so I won't mention anyone's pictures because I know mine's atrocious.
Don't look it up, guys. But, don't look it up.
There'll be guys going, I might just go and look it up and just see. It's not too bad, but it's not great. But that was in my slimming days, I call that photo. But on board with Diego now.
Ooh, red names coming out across the board right now. I think there might have been a little bit of tapping on the walls there. But you can see the gap between Rago and Gayoso has actually increased by quite a bit. Gayoso is just hanging back for a bit, and we're past the halfway point of the race right now. So at this point, this is where you start to see tire wear playing a big factor there. Diego, a bit of a slide coming on the exit of that corner into the start-finish straight. He's going to have to do his best and really keep that car under control there because it just seems like his tires are already short.
Yeah, it looks like he's on ice at the moment, just sliding the car from the bottom to the top, back down to the bottom. Oh, he's almost smacks the wall and out of two there. He was close there. But yeah, I was going to say Bristol's such an interesting track when officials come here. I don't know if you've seen them, but it's always yellow. I mean, there's normally not that many laps that get involved around Bristol, so it should be interesting to see what this tyre wear is like. And we can already see it's coming into effect here when you start to use those rear tyres. Car likes to snap. And Rago's actually bringing down the lap time. Not the lap time. The delta with Josh in front, so that could still be on the table, but we'll see what that has in effect later on. Yago coming into pits though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder what actually happened because it doesn't seem like every other driver is having that much issue with the tires. I wasn't sure if it's like his driving style in particular that was causing the issue, but regardless of that, he will be pitting. And come to think of it, you and I have done AMX mostly on Saturdays, right? And it's usually Saturdays that I feel, in particular, has the most interesting circumstances when it comes to races like this. Like we have NASCAR, we have probably the biggest crash I've seen in AMX this season. We had the V8 supercars, which actually ran out of fuel in the middle of a race, like very close to the end. So that was really interesting to see. So I'm kind of like thinking, like, if you have to watch AMX and you only have one day to watch, Saturday is probably the best time.
Yeah, it probably would be. I mean, Sundays there's been some good ones. We had GT4s at Sebring for one round, but Saturday's more of a whole. I've noticed, like, it's just, yeah, it's kind of got everything, like you were saying. Like, we've got NASCARs, then after this we got Porsche Cups. So yeah, it's pretty jam-packed, that's for sure.
Yeah, you can see Diego Villarreal is actually just behind, I think that's Rago here, but he is a lap behind because he came out of the pits. He's now actually 2 laps behind everyone else, but his tires are back to normal now, so he's gonna have to time to catch up. As you can see, Josh is now taking the high line throughout most of these corners. I think he's realizing that his tires might be a little bit worse for wear, but he's still keeping it under very good control right now. But Rago, slowly but surely closing the gap. We've got 25 laps left in the race for Heat 1, and then we have to go to Heat 2 afterwards. It'll be interesting to see where they are at right now, and Rago just letting Villarreal pass. So does Josh. So he's going to have to try his best to catch up. You can see Rago making up times in the second sector in particular as well. And having to let Diego pass is probably going to slow both of these cars down.
Yeah, it's probably slowing them down, but I just want to go back to that top line. You know how I was saying about the tyre wear, and it could bring some speed. I'm actually shocked it's not bringing more speed because it's costing him probably so much in tyre. We can already see here this sectors down below. He's only he's not even gaining anything out of it. Rago's actually gaining, staying low. So it's quite interesting. Maybe Josh could be more of a cup guy, that's actually the line you run in the cup car, which is, if no one knows what the cup car is the A-class car, which is you use the top line because those tyres are really weird. You actually want to get tyre temp into them, which is weird compared to the Xfinity car. The Xfinity car, you want to keep tyre temp out of it so you don't get tyre wear. So it's quite interesting. Rago, though, catching, though, A10s now. Starting to get those yellow numbers now, which we always see when they're getting closer and closer, and then we'll start to see them getting red shortly. And you can see here Rago is just locked in. He does not care. A nuclear bomb could go off and he'd still be racing. He looks super focused, and it's good to see.
Yeah, I definitely think the tire wear is starting to work against Josh's favor right now, so he's going to lose time, milliseconds per lap. You can see already the sector deltas that he's not doing the times that he was at the beginning. Conor Healy again also not being able to make any progress. He's 7 seconds behind Gayoso there, so he's probably going to have to contend with staying in 4th position. Probably has pretty good tires still, but again, we've seen Villarreal hanging on the back, and then his tires were immediately just shot. Probably trying to keep the car under control coming out of the exits of these corners, and very tight banking, so it's going to definitely be more uneven on one side than the other. You can see now the times are just slowly getting closer to one another.
Yeah, they definitely are. And you can look at that with Josh just using all that top line. He's almost doing a Chicago land line we saw a couple of weeks ago with the trucks. But yeah, he's using all of it, and yeah, it's definitely not in his favour. And Rago's just getting closer and closer, and he's going to have that better tyre wear. But saying that though, Josh could be okay because making a pass with these NASCARs is not very easy. If you're a road course kind of guy, you know when you do a pass, it's normally under brakes, commitment, it's kind of those things. But with a NASCAR, it's really shoving the nose and really getting low and trusting your other the other person to not squeeze you or come up. Like there's a lot of factors into passing with a NASCAR. I was shocked myself when I started getting into it a couple of months ago. So it should be interesting to see what Josh can do, because seeing his iRacing, I'd say he's got a lot of experience, probably just not in this car from seeing what lines he's doing.
Yeah, I think probably more of a cup car driver, but you can see there, the Delta is now in the reds. Rago is less than half a second behind Josh. Could look to make a pass within the next 10 laps. We'll have to see whether or not his tires are in better nick to make this opportunity happen. But yeah, Josh, really valuable time. He actually managed to hold the lead for most of the race, so he's doing fine. But look at that, less than 3/10. Immediately, you can see how close the cars are together. And Rago, laser shot focus, you can see the wheel there fighting against him a little bit as he's trying to get around the corner. Very smooth straighting inputs all around there. Oh, it's getting close. It's getting really, really close. And honestly, I think within the next 5 laps or so, we could definitely see something happen. Whether or not the maneuver is going to be safe for both drivers is another question entirely.
Yeah, for sure. Should be interesting. Josh going high. We're going to see Rago get that clean air, so he's going to get a good run out of this corner. If Josh starts giving him some dirty air, though, this could be a factor that he could use. If he went high, dropped low, mid-corner, he's just giving him all that dirty air, and Rago's going to get all the understeer out of the corner, and you'll just see that car just understeer if Josh is in front of him. So Rago's got the clean air at the moment, just got that front left in that clean air, and now he's got to be in it, and he's just struggling. Seeing that exit, car's oversteering a little bit, understeering a lot. Connor Healy actually getting a lap there, so Connor Healy out of the mix all together. So Oso's the only guy really involved with this, if he even wanted to be. So down to these two now.
Yeah, 5 laps remaining. The gap has extended back up to half a second. And you can see right now Josh's car is in pristine condition. While you can see on the right side of Rago, he has a bit of damage. I think he scraped the wall a couple of times, and that probably costed him valuable time and momentum as well. So he's going to end up dropping now. He's probably going to be holding on to this position right now. We've only got about 4 laps left. I don't think he'll be able to close the gap just in time if Josh keeps up this momentum. You see there that with Villarreal, he also tapped the wall. And again, on the course that's this narrow and with such steep banks, you really, really want to watch your exit, because going off not only means you lose momentum, you lose tire wear, you just lose you can see you lose a lot more than you gain. As you can see, he taps the wall again. He's still coming to grips with the track itself, I feel.
Yeah, it could be. For sure. It's definitely not an easy track from the looks of it. I remember when the weeks did come around for Bristol, I was not here, unfortunately. I missed out, and then I had to do Phoenix and everything. But Bristol's a whole different game. It's, we see Bristol being an easy track in a lot of people's eyes, but it's definitely no easy track. Oh, Diego just smacking the wall there. White flag. So Josh, I reckon he might run away with this.
Yeah, he already is running away. He's more than a second clear of Rago, so he's going to clear this heat without any competition whatsoever. Crossing the finish line right now, leading all the way from start to finish. Amazing drive from Josh here. And, AMX1 has a new competitor they have to watch out for.
Yeah, for sure. Just coming to clean up. He started up the front there before, so he got a nice cheeky lead straight away compared to the other drivers that had to battle their way through. But that was a good little race.
Yeah, you can see session winner Josh there on your screen. A little bit of sweat coming out of him. He did have to work hard to keep that win in his pocket, but he is going to end up Heat 1 winner. Facundo Rago in second, Gayoso in third. Connor Healy, despite setting a blistering qualifying pace, wasn't able to maintain that throughout the race. Ends up in fourth with Diego Villarreal in fifth place. Has to be really careful with those corner exits because he keeps tapping the walls, and you definitely don't want to do that on a consistent basis.
Definitely not. But Josh getting the cheeky victory there, so he'll be walking away with some nice dollary dues.
All right, here we go for Heat 2. Remember, this is a reverse grid order, so Villarreal and Connor Healy will be starting at the front of the pack this time around with Josh on the back. So he's going to have a bit of a challenge to make it to the front of the pack, unlike the first race. So, you can see right now, 5 cars on the grid as we're going around the parade lap, the warm-up lap, so to speak. And, a bit of a curveball that Josh has thrown into the mix by being here tonight.
For sure, he's definitely changing up the roster, and it's good to see. Kind of Healy and Diego starting up the front though, with Gyoso, Rago, then Josh down the back. So it should be interesting. This will be the test now to see what Josh can do passing cars. We didn't really see him do anything besides just run away from the race, and Rago have to use a lot of tyre to catch up, and Josh getting the win there. So pace car's going to drop in. We're going to see Connor Healy take us away for this second time, Heat 2 race, race 27 out of all the weeks. Here we go. Last time we're going to be here.
All right.
Going green. And good jump by Diego there, getting an awesome launch. Man's shaved off a bit of hair fuzz on the beard, and he is away, and he's straight into it. Rago with a dive straight up the inside. Connor Healy dropping down low instantly, not giving him any room there. He doesn't want to give him any breathing room. We saw him having really good pace of a long run there. So Connor Healy knows if he can just keep him behind, that's where he wants him to be, because Diego cooks his tyres very quickly. So if Connor just stays where he is, keeps Rago behind, that's probably the best outcome he can have. Rago right on the back of the bumper.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the gearing of these cars. They don't go past 220 Ks on this course. So again, this much power doesn't really matter as much as Connor Healy tapping the wall there, and gives Rago an opportunity to come up behind him into the clean air. Meanwhile, the gap between them and Diego Villarreal is also narrowing, and you kind of see P in a position where you don't really want to battle. You want to stay with a consistent pace, because as you battle, it affects both your cars in terms of tire wear, because you end up having to drive more defensively or aggressively depending on your position that you're in. So this battle is probably one that they don't want to keep for very long. And Josh right now is also at the back there, biting his tire. Rago coming up to the rear bumper of Connor Healy right now. You can see he's looking for a dive, but Connor Healy doing a very good job of holding off that position away from him, going low as well to keep that position safe. And meanwhile, the gap between them and Diego Villarreal, it was 3/10 last lap. It's now down to about 2/10, less than 2/10 in fact. And with how competitive these drivers are, especially in these kinds of circumstances, when they're tapping the wall, they're definitely going to be cussing out a little bit. As Josh is slowly dropping behind, however.
Yeah, I mean, Josh had good pace at the start, but it just looks like he's not really staying with this group at the moment. Connor Healy's actually got a scratch down the side of the car. That's why I kind of paused there for a second, going, does he have damage? But it does look like he's got a bit of a scrape. I'm shocked about Connor Healy doesn't have an Altus livery for one of these cars yet. I think I've seen him in a couple of Altus liveries, and talking about liveries, straight up the inside goes Connor Healy. He's going to take the lead for Heat 2, and there goes Rago as well. So that's easy done by those two, and now this will be the battle for the ages. We've seen these two go at it quite a few times. We've seen Rago be really good under the tyre side of it, but we've seen Connor Healy having some really good pace out of all the cars that he's driven on the ovals at the moment. So see if the Altus driver can keep Rago behind him.
Yeah, and Rago in the same position that he was last race, staying at the back there. Diego Villarreal, I think he got tapped a little bit there, went super wide, and now he's dropped back again to the back of the pack, trying to contest the position back from Josh. Unable to make it so far. Josh is just making it clean and keeping it tidy as it's coming out of the exit. Diego Villarreal has to make sure he does the same thing. Definitely has to get the grips of the car as soon as possible if he wants to be in contention right now. Meanwhile, Gyoso just hounding the back of Rago. Rago again also chasing Connor Healy, but Connor Healy is slowly keeping that gap wide. And not by much at this point in time, but anything can still happen. We're very early on into the race, only about lap 14. So,
Spicing up for sure. And we've seen this happen so many times where Heat 2 is a little bit more spicier because everyone knows what they're doing now. They've learnt what the tyre does under them. They've learned what the car does as well. So this is where everyone's going to put all their cards on the table and really test how everyone drives go. So really just found a lot of pace there and just got straight back onto the back of Rago now. So this could be his time to shine. We've seen him win a couple of times in AMX 1 in a couple of heats. So this should be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Gayoso is actually sticking closer to Rago than he did the last time around. He was about 3-4 seconds behind him past the halfway point in the race. So right now, he is going to be more or less competing with Rago, unable to really work together in order to catch up to the front of the pack because, again, slipstream is not such a big factor on a track as short as this with not very long straights. So it becomes more of a sort of a friendly competition between these two drivers as they're battling for each other for that position as well as for the front of the pack. Connor Healy again extending the position, his lead over Rago by about another 4/10. So he is now close to a second clear of them.
Yeah, he's pulling that gap nice and early, and we saw Rago really struggle with that dirty air that we mentioned about very late on to the race. So I wonder if the dirty air is a big factor with having a fixed setup around Bristol. Could be a big factor that we haven't noticed because it seems like if they get anywhere in that second of a range, like the car moves around a lot differently compared to what we see them with clean air.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it plays a pretty substantial factor in whether or not you make the pass because once you get within striking range, it's all a matter of commitment as well, but you also have to be really careful, have to be spatially aware of your surroundings just in case you end up in a position where both of you that are competing for that position get compromised. But meanwhile, Connor Healy still pulling away. We'll have to see whether or not his tires will be affected by this drive trying to clear through the pack. But Josh, another story to tell, is catching up to the back of Gayoso, now less than about 3/10 separating these two drivers right now. You can see the delta times. Josh is just making up so much time.
Yeah, we can see that top line's coming into effect. So the track conditions are probably transferred over, so he's using that to his effect now. Just not really thinking about what the drivers in front of him are doing, but look at see how he's moving that dirty air around. If Gayoso goes low, he goes high. If Gayoso goes high, he goes low. So you can see there's a bit of a tango to it, what Josh is doing now, and yeah, he's doing it really well, Gayoso. And the screen down in the bottom left, in the dark, Batman. So we'll see Batman. Oh, Josh trying to do a run around the outside. He's going to drop down low. I reckon this might be the passing opportunity. He's going to go on the top again. So 3 could be the opportunity at this point in time. I reckon he might go for it. It's going to be a big dive. No, it still doesn't go for it. So being patient, we saw him with that little bit of contact with Diago before. So, just slid up a little bit up to that wall, kissing the wall. Josh on the back of him, giving him a nice push out of 2 now, coming up to 3. Let's see what he does out of 4. Josh is going to go straight under him. Gayoso's going to try that top line. He saw, Josh, you're being fast on that top line. Gayoso's scrubbing that wall. So it's just, he's trying to find the limit as much as he can without smacking the wall. And Josh going high again. We were talking about this tango, and he's definitely doing it at the moment.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be one in a position where, like, he's trying to make the move, but he wants to make sure that it becomes a safe move because you don't want to end up in the wall for both of you. And the guy also is definitely feeling the heat right now. I mean, realistically speaking, here it comes. I was about to say something, and then my train of thought immediately got interrupted because I'm just watching Josh looking for opportunities to strike there. He's like a rattlesnake, just posturing and then shaking that rattle behind him, telling me, yo, Gayoso, I'm right behind you, get ready, I'm about to strike. And Gayoso is just trying his utmost best to defend right now. Again, battles like this, probably going to be an issue when it comes to how you manage your tires throughout the rest of the race, because we're about to crest the halfway point in just a few minutes. So realistically, Josh does have an opportunity, but it has to be really quick because you don't want to be caught in an extended battle like this.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like Josh has... It looks like he's got some runs in... Oh, there we go. There's the run. If he just can keep it there. Gayoso, though, with a huge run around the outside. That was massive. Josh keeping there. Gayoso can't drop down low. Josh's going to move up high. Try and squeeze him. He doesn't get the move done. He's still there. And I don't think he's going to get it done until he pushes him right up the top. And I reckon this might have been it. Josh has cleared him. Gayoso, go back down low, trying to get the run. And Josh has got it. He's got it done. So Josh got to move on to his next teammate now. Rago up the road, then Connor Healy after that. So Josh's got some really good pace in that car at the moment, and I think he's going to use every bit of it at the moment. And yeah, keep tuned, guys, because I think Josh could bring it to Connor Healy up the front.
Yeah, that just really shows you how experienced he is with these oval racings. That you notice that guy also, despite the fact that he had an amazing exit out of the corner, taking the top line there, it brings up his speed, and then he has to scrub it all off for the next corner again. So he can't hold that speed for very long. So the lead just goes off, and then he has to actually slow down more than Josh, because Josh the opportunity to catch up and then make that pass happen. You can see the time delta again being scrubbed by Josh here, less than a second separating him and Rago. Meanwhile, Rago is just losing Connor Healy right now, about 1.4 seconds clear of him. So Rago caught between a rock and a hard place here, because he's going to have to contest with Josh in just a minute. And just saying that, I mean, I'm not sure if Connor's still there. Connor, are you good, my guy?
Hi. My apologies, I had my mic muted. I was babbling on and I was like, okay, I'm not saying anything on stream. I must have been having a sip of water, my apologies. But I feel like with these races Rago's been doing, I feel like he's kind of got the experience to bring it to Josh, because he's been versing the likes of Connor Healy and a couple other drivers where he's been tested. So for Rago, I feel like the tides are kind of turned. We saw these two the opposite ways, but yeah, I wonder what Rago's going to do. And I'm just noticing the track temperature is going up as well, so these tyres are going to be getting scorched at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to be aware. iRacing, of course, using track temperature is a very good indicator of how quickly your tires will wear out. And you can see Rago tapping the wall there, losing even more momentum. You can see Josh is already in the reds when it comes to the deltas between these two drivers. Connor Healy also did tap the wall a little bit, and so now the gap between him and Rago is narrowing down. But Rago having to contend with a battle behind him is Josh coming up to the top line. He's got a really good run. He's going to keep the momentum as he goes into the midline. And just like that, he's still making the gap very, very tight between him and Rago. Again, going for the top line to gain as much speed as he possibly can. Oh, the gap is staying consistent, but you can see right now, he's just attacking constantly, and Rago is trying to not be caught with his pants down. Coming out of lap 47 right now. Pardon the use of that particular simile, but you can see a bit of smoke coming up from the rear Rago's tires. That tells Josh that, okay, this guy is definitely driving a little bit too defensively, probably going to lose his car just a little bit, lose a bit of tires, and that gives me the opportunity to make a move right now as they're coming up to the back marker of Diego Villarreal. And so these three cars might get slowed down a little bit. We'll have to see if Connor gets to hold on to the lead right now. It was 1.4 seconds at one point, now back down to 7/10. Meanwhile, Josh still not giving Rago the time of day right now. Ooh, coming up into lap 49. He's still going for that top line. I don't know how long his tires can keep up this assault. Rago managing to keep it steady. But just for the time being, as I say that right now, the gap immediately gets narrowed down again. And I need to take a breath, because I am honestly impressed with the way Josh has been attacking Rago here.
For sure. I think this is where Josh has just been really strong. I thought the tyres wouldn't have held up this far, but I think him moving up and down through the racetrack, being right
right on the back of these guys, I think it's helping him with that tyre wear, because with Rago being on the same line as Connor Healy, there's, its tyre wear is exact same as Connor Healy in front. So Josh moving around, trying to find that grip. Josh is finding this grip, and look at this. He's moving around, but look at it. But at the same time, Rago's got this slipstream in front of him. So not like Gioso when he had no slipstream in front of him, and he was a one-man team. As everyone knows, with a 1v1 on a racetrack, the guy that's leading is never the guy that's always up with an upper hand. He's always, fighting from that point of view. So Josh here, he's lurking. We nicknamed him the Rattlesnake from Damon, and I reckon that's a pretty decent name. I reckon we'll keep Rattlesnake around for a bit. There goes Josh. A little bit of a look. Nothing major though, but moving around, moving up top. He might go low for this turn 3, but Connor Healy is just getting pulled in every corner, and I reckon these boys will waste no time on Connor Healy if they've got more pace on him. Rago though, if Rago can just make a dive bomb straight up the inside of Connor Healy and make it an extra roadblock for Josh, that would be the play at the moment. So it'll be Aussie on Aussie, so that should be interesting. Josh straight around the outside, almost gets the run on the both of them. He's going to have the run into turn 1. Oh, almost gets it done. He's going to run that top line again. Locked in as usual. Heads tilt back. He's really focused at the moment. Running that top line again. He'd be running quite a bit of tyre wear, but I don't reckon as much as Rago at the moment with that dirty air on that front nose. Obviously, with a fixed setup, you can't really change much. So they've kind of just got to deal with what they've got. And with Josh, he's just dealing with it very well. Oh, he almost had the move done. And that's almost showing me that he's got the run for turn 3, and I reckon this will be it. Oh, Rago hugely deep on the brakes, almost hitting Connor Healy on the exit of 4 there. Oh, damn, it's heating up.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see Josh is so much faster on the entry, but unable to really pull ahead on the exit. That tells me that his tires are screaming for help right now, trying to find the grip that he needs to make this pass happen. But if it doesn't make it happen anytime soon, his tires are going to be in deep trouble, and Rago and Connor Healy will still be pulling ahead. Connor Healy under severe pressure from 2 drivers right now. The gap was extended. Here comes Rago going a little bit high, still trying to make something happen. And we've been going at this back and forth for quite some time now. Almost 10 laps have passed since the initial attack. Oh, Rago there, almost again clipping the back of Connor Healy's car. A little bit of a dip, a little bit of contact. Rago just loses it from that contact right now. Trying to get past Josh again, and now scraping the wall. Oh, Josh making it clean, keeping it clean and tidy throughout that attack. And he manages to make it stick, so now he just has to make it past Connor Healy as well. He might make it a double-double for him. Some 13 laps left to go. Connor Healy under heavy scrutiny. Rago there almost dropping out. He's scraping the wall more times than he likes. So he's going to scrub off quite a bit of speed. Here comes Josh on the outside, makes it past Connor Healy. What a pass from Josh.
What a great pass around the outside, just having tons of grip there. And we're coming down to the last 10 or 12 laps. And look at this, Connor Healy under huge pressure, can't do much about it. And Josh is going to walk away with this already. You can see here, Connor Healy's got nothing to show to Josh at all. He's going to fight every ounce for it though. But yeah, Rago just bumping Josh out of 4 going, I didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit. But yeah, Rago really showing the passion, and Josh might get this other win. We'll see what happens though, because if Connor Healy and Rago just play nice and catch the back of Josh, it could be on again. But Josh walking away about 6/10 at the moment. Rago straight over the inside, has a look, huge correction, saying things over the radio. You'd see them there just talking in his language. They're going at it. But Connor Healy straight face as usual, same haircut as usual as well. And but yeah, Connor Healy doing well just to keep Rago behind. But yeah, had nothing for Josh, unfortunately.
Yeah, Josh is making it look super easy on the pass for both of these drivers right now. Both of them caught out left field, caught so deeply in a battle with one another that they just couldn't defend in time for Josh's assault. So right now, you could tell me, you could tell me Connor's camera was a recording of him every week, and I probably would have believed you because he does, as you said, he looks a lot the same in the driving camera most of the time. But yeah, right now, Josh pulling away. Now a second clear of both drivers right now. Rago has to try and see if he can make a pass, but that battle really shot his tires. He's scraping the walls. He's losing control of the car. Has to correct his steering inputs more than a couple of times now. So he's not going to be in a great position to mount an assault. In fact, I doubt he'll be able to in the next 5 laps.
I was going to say, you were talking about that tyre wear. Watch when Rago just corrects that car every time on exit. He's just constantly wheeling the car. I think they're putting a lot of throttle modulation to get the car stable instead of just wheeling the car on exit, and Rago right in the back, and look at that. Look at the wheel correction. Just constantly at the wheel of the thing. So let's see what happens with both of them. There's both of the driver cam. Connor Healy less movement, but Rago really on the movement. But yeah, it's down to these two at the moment because Josh is just part of the season. But see you later, fellas. I'll see you at the finish line. But 2 Aussies, 1-2. So can Rago split the middle and get him off guard and put a Argentinian in the middle?
Yeah, 2 more laps to go. Doesn't look like their gap is wide enough for now. Rago is trying to keep up the Connor Healy, but now can't actually find the speed or the grip in order to make that thing happen. As you said before, you can see he's doing a lot more corrections on his steering input than he was at the start of the race. We're at the penultimate lap right now, and Josh making this entire race look easy. Connor Healy and Rago completely caught out left field there. And here we go, Josh. What an amazing drive.
Check it,
Josh.
What a great drive, eh? Oh, it was, yeah, he just drove around Connor Healy like he was nothing on that outside lane, and here's the burnout, ladies and gentlemen. I think he kind of deserved it. 1-2 in the races. Didn't get a pole position, but definitely showing in the race, and Connor Healy getting our pole position for tonight. So Josh should be on the top of the leaderboard for these races. He looks pretty happy. So compared to Connor Healy, he has that straight face kind of look, but yeah, really good racing.
And Josh with the double win for both heats, sitting comfortably in first position. Our session winner here, brought to you by BenQ. Connor Healy, a much better position than he was in the last race, finishing in second. Facundo Rago dropped down a position from Heat 1 into Heat 2 with a third place finish. Galloso in fourth, and Diego Villarreal, unfortunately, not a great race day for him.
Yeah, Diego, we always see out the front, I always see, on the big ovals, but it just looked like bit of a interesting one here for tonight, bit of a tricky one, 20 laps down as well, so it looks like he just backed out of it. And but yeah, main thing is Josh has won from Slipstream Autosport.
Wow, what a brilliant drive. I mean, really, man, I love watching NASCAR. Some people might say it looks really simple as a racing discipline. I beg to differ. From the few weeks that I've been taking part in NASCAR, doing commentary for it, it's always been really exciting, really high intense racing. And for the most part today, very, very clean. We've had almost no incidents, aside from that one little tussle between Josh and Rago in the later part of the race. But when we come back later for AMX 10, we'll be back in about 20 minutes. So before we get on to that, we're going to take a quick break, cut to commercial. We'll be back in about 20 minutes. You can check our socials down there in the meantime: Instagram, Twitch, X, formerly known as Twitter, Discord, YouTube, amxrace.com, our website, as well as short form content on TikTok. We'll be updating that TikTok pretty soon, I think. But until then, we will see you in just a short while for AMX 10.
to save our home, we must travel through the gateway to find new energy. to save our home. We must travel through the gateway to find new energy.
And welcome back to AMX Global Season 4 Race 27, where we are with AMX 10 tonight. Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, driving the 992 Series 911 GT3 Cup cars from Porsche. We've got a massive grid today, and of course, bringing you commentary for tonight is me, Damon, joined here by Connor. And like I said, we have a massive grid tonight, so it's going to be one heck of a race, I should say. What do you think so, Connor?
Yeah, for sure. Should be interesting. We've seen the Porsche Cup at a couple of tracks now. So Barcelona, so definitely one that I've never seen a Porsche Cup go around before. So yeah, it should be an interesting one. First time for me, and I think a few people have done this combo before, but yeah, it should be pretty new to most people.
Yeah, and Catalunya and Barcelona is a very, very well-renowned track, of course. But we will be talking about that more later on when Connor brings us the track and car info. Meanwhile, our socials are down there. You can see AMX Global on Instagram, Twitch, X, formerly known as Twitter, Discord, YouTube, our website at amxrace.com, where you can sign up to race even right now, as well as short-form content on our TikTok. But before we get into qualifying, we do have to do a little bit of housekeeping. So we're going to jump straight into that right now. And yes, here is the housekeeping session for AMX Season 4. AMX Global Overview. We started racing on January 27th, and we will be racing until April 21st, which is 2 weeks from now. Season prize pool of $20,000 and next level gear. Our race format is a 20-minute qualifier. Then the top 15 passes times will be arranged in reverse grid order for the first heat, and then we take the results of heat number 1, shuffle the top 15 into reverse grid order again for heat 2, so we end up with a fresh lead almost every time. Driver cams are, of course, required for both AMX1 and AMX10. Payout balances over $100 will be paid out every month, and our race days are on Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're catching us at the midpoint of the week. You can sign up to race anytime at amxrace.com. In fact, you can even do so right now if you want to join this one or you want to join any following races within the next couple of weeks. Our schedule is, of course, following Greenwich Mean Time. So AMX1 will be running at 5:50 p.m. on all 3 days, and AMX10 will then happen about an hour or so later at 7:20 p.m. An hour and a half later, 7:20 p.m. on all 3 days as well. Our prize pool for AMX10 is as follows. $30 goes to first place, and then decreasing in slight increments all the way until 15th place. So once you're below 15th place, you won't get any prize money for it. Same goes for both heats as well, but there is a $4 bonus for the fastest lap, that by any driver. You need a minimum iRating on road courses of 2,000 to take part in AMX10. And all these drivers, of course, are very experienced, as you will see later on. This is our current top 12. You can see Gal Valero there standing very, very comfortable at the top. 25 races he's taken part in. He's won 2 of them overall with a 1,147 points. Ahead of second place Kieran Harrison, almost about 400 points clear of Kieran Harrison. Aaron Vasquez in third place, Dino Filippo in fourth, Gaston Kohavi in fifth, Jackson Resende in 6th, Fabio Zamperlini in 7th, Pedro Din 8th, Simon De Mori at 9th, Juan Blenat at 10th, Corentin Guinness in 11th, and Peter Zuba rounding up the top 12. Of course, you want to know the current season leaderboards. Of course, here it is. Pedro Din in 10th place right now, but just Kieran Harrison taking a big dive alongside Dino Filippo, dropping 4 positions down to 9th and 8th respectively. Jackson Resende up 2 spots to 7th. Fabio Zamperlini the same, up to 6th. Simon De Mori the same as well, up to 5th. Gaston Kohavi with a massive jump in positions all the way to 4th place. Juan Blenat, Gal Valero, top 2 in the podium, but our current season leader is Aaron Vasquez, 120 points almost clear of second place. Okay, now I'm going to hand it over to Connor for our track and car info. So Connor, take it away.
Thank you, mate. You're great at housekeeping compared to myself. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at Barcelona, a Spanish track, sorry. The city of Barcelona, which is where everyone says it's Barcelona. And this is probably the most famous track in Spain. It was opened in 1991. They've been racing Formula One here for God knows how many years since, I can remember the years of the two Mercedes crashing into each other, turn 4 or so. Really famous racetrack. It's almost 5Ks long, 4.6Ks, and yeah, it's an awesome racetrack, and these Porsche Cups should be a great little another good car around here, as every other car is really good around here. And I was just talking about the car, and here it is. Getting some awesome shots here. Love the livery they did for what they did for iRacing, so I love this default one, but it is the Porsche Cup car, which is the 992. The newer version came out about a couple of years ago. When I was newer to iRacing, it was the 991 or the 911. I keep mixing that up every time I mention about the old car, but 500 horsepower. Rear wheel drive, 1,200 kilos, and sequential gearbox was paddles. But yeah, really engines in the rear, so a lot of traction out of corners. Entry, you don't really get much, but yeah, just a really fun car. The wings, where you get all the downforce from this car as well. So it's a really interesting car to slide this car around and yeah, have some fun with it. And you can have some really good battles with this car as well.
And thanks for that, Connor. And now we're going to jump straight into qualifying, of course, where you can see, as I mentioned before, we have a massive grid tonight, and it's a proper one-main race this time around. We've got 18 drivers on the grid, and a lot of very familiar names, of course. You can see Aaron Vasquez is here. Tim State, again, one of our VR-specific drivers, is also here. He did a pretty stellar performance last time he was on. We'll see if he'll be able to keep up the pace this time around. We have Gal Valero here, David Ziwok here as well. A lot of Brazilians, Zampolini, Resende, Victor Miranda. A new name I haven't really seen much of recently, but we'll see how he handles the cars and the grid later on. Tobias Soriano, Ralph Benitez, Piotr Kwasniewski, Pedro Dean, Gaston Kuhavi, Montechico, Roman Pascucci, Nico Vesbicki, Andre Not, Bruno Carmo, and Luke Bennett. So very many familiar names. Couple of names that we haven't really seen much of in AMX 10. Really interesting to see how these guys tackle the course with these cars.
Yeah, it should be quite interesting, Damon. It's good to be at this track. I don't think we've actually touched bases at this track for a while, but riding on board with Luke Bennett, he can show us how we get around this track. But yeah, it's a really special track, really. It's been some really cool endurance races over the years with iRacing, and I hope they keep bringing them back as well. But yeah, some fresh faces as well, though, so good to see. And we're about to see Luke get on his first lap as well. But Damon, what's kind of your experience around here?
I've taken an F1 car around here before, but not in a pure simulator like iRacing. I mean, I'm not much of a sim racer myself, or rather, I should say I do partake in sim racing. I'm just not particularly good at it. But it's always interesting to see drivers that are much faster than me go around it, because it really is a true testament of their skill. But Barcelona, a very famous track, of course, very well known, fairly recent as well compared to most of the tracks we've had on the calendar thus far. And already, only being about 20 to 30 years old, already has so much pedigree behind it.
Yeah, it does. Even like I was mentioning before about the Formula One, remember back in 2015 when Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton colliding, then last year or the year before that, they just changed it where there was no chicane, so they're just flying through the last corner flat foot. So yeah, it's good to see there's A lot of pedigree, like you said, and Aaron Vesquez on a full purple sector run at the moment. He's been very competitive with these cars over the last couple of races we've came here with the Porsche Cups. Last time we were here, we were at Magnicor with the Porsche Cup car. He's going to come across the line and see what it gets. Doesn't look like he hasn't moved up, but in the P3 and Tobias up the P6. I just saw that in the relative as well. So a couple of guys moving around.
Yeah, and Luke Bennett, again, driver that we haven't really seen before, is currently at the top of the leaderboard. So he's doing pretty all right for himself, all things considered. We are experiencing a rather surprising trend today of like drivers that we haven't really seen before coming in and just smashing the current race season. Although, of course, we have to see whether or not they'll be able to translate that qualifying performance into real race experience.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like sometimes iRating doesn't show it. 90% of the time shows it, but yeah, Luke Bennett being a red line driver, he's definitely got that pedigree and got the iRating behind him. Pedro Dean, we're riding on board now. He's just going to come and finish his lap time. This should be a full green sector run, so not in... Oh, yeah, there's the jump. So P11, he's just moved up, so a couple of spots there. Victor Victor riding on board with now. He's newer, I think. I could be wrong. One of the Texaco guys. No, not new. My apologies then, Victor.
It's all right. It doesn't really matter if they're new, but what matters is that we haven't actually really seen them. Like, we're not too familiar with how they perform in races such as this, but we can't tell you exactly where we expect the regulars to be. So we'll have to see if we get surprised later on. You can see Gavalero hasn't set a great lap time just yet, still running in P8. He's still on his out lap, it looks like. I think he went back into the pits for a bit, try and reset. But right now you can see the times are pretty competitive with one another. Just up until maybe P7, because P8 onwards you get into the 48s, and it's a big of a gap, about 6/10.
Yeah, there is a bit of a gap, but to be honest, as having a red line driver as your benchmark in P1, I feel like that margin's not that bad really when you look at it. 2/10 difference in 1 and 2, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought it'd be a lot bigger, but yeah, these guys have definitely got some pace tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into the heats in about 5 minutes time. So right now we can see these guys taking the course around 147, so probably around I want to say 10-15 laps within that range. So long track, lots of opportunities to make stuff happen. We'll have to see with a grid this big. Sometimes it is really hard to keep it clean, and we know that these drivers can be a little bit passionate about their driving sometimes, especially when we've seen a lot of these drivers in the TCR class. They really go at each other's throats on that class.
Never seen a TCR race yet. I still need to go and watch a Tuesday race back.
Yeah, oh yeah, you should. Almost every time we take TCRs out at the course, it's a slumber knocker. It's always super intense. Hopefully, with one make race of these Porsche Cup cars, we'll see about the same thing. The difference, of course, being the TCR cars, front-wheel drive, whenever you make an unforced error, it's pretty easy to recover off of it because you can just power out of it. You cannot do that in these cars because they will bite you.
For sure, yeah, it's definitely, they'll definitely bite. And Bruno, straight up to the top of the charts. And, yeah, maybe Luke's got a bit of a challenge tonight. 400s, the difference now. Now we're back to Luke. No times at the moment. I think he is on a lap, but we've just got no reference down the bottom at the moment. Kind of looks like he's on a bit of a slower one, so it could go around for his lap now, but there's his driver cam there. Like Damon said, driver cam is required. So, ladies and gentlemen, turn them on, and we want to see your pretty faces racing around, and yeah, it's good to see everyone running them.
Yeah, because we'll need these driver cams for the interviews later on, especially when we pick the drivers that are going to be part of the interview session. But that is then, and this is now. We've got less than 3 minutes before the end of qualifying, and as you said, Harmo, pretty far up that list right now. Just ended up smashing the current fastest time by about 400ths of a second. See if we can keep that pace up. Because again, we talked about this, and every time for this particular class, a lot of drivers that are fast in qualifying are also fast during the race, but there are just certain factors that will affect the actual race later on, especially when so many cars are on the grid and they're all piling together side by side. And this particular layout is the layout with the chicane, correct? Right?
Yep, just with the chicane. So these guys will have to deal with that compared to the F1, that they just go straight through and keep their foot planted. So yeah, bit more of a different layout than what we see to this day. But Jackson Resende with the purple sector, by the way, in P10 at the moment. Teammate to Bruno, who's in P1. So Jackson's got his teammate really smashing goals out there, and Jackson's always been really fast in the Porsche Cup car. So we'll see him put a really good lap time down here. Coming around the last corner now. It just went through that last chicane there we were just talking about, and here he comes. Where does he end up? Oh! What a time! 3/10 faster than his teammate. That's quick.
Yeah, oh, that is amazingly quick time from Jaceres, and just a very good demonstration of what you just said, that he's super fast in these cup cars. A lot of drivers gonna have to really pick up their pace in order to catch up, but I don't think they'll have the time, because we've got less than a minute before the end of qualifying. Jaceres Resende gonna propel himself to the top of the leaderboard there, but here comes Victor Miranda. He's got a really fast sector as well. Just barely unable to catch up to Resende's time, or about 900ths of a second separating them. Again, amazing drive from Victor Miranda there. And just like that, the usual front runners that we see are nowhere to be seen, except for Resende.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're all teammates too, 1, 2, and 3. So that could be a lockout for a whole team. So that'd be a massive achievement for that team. We've seen Jackson Resende and his crew getting around a lot. We've seen them in every AMX 10 race since the start of this whole season. So yeah, it'd be good to see them get a 1, 2, 3.
And just like that, we reached the end of qualifying, and Jaceres Resende pulling out a blisteringly quick lap with Victor Miranda close behind him. If we go back over here, the leaderboards, our session winner for today on qualifying, Jaceres Resende, you can see him on the screen right now. Top 15, of course, you can see Victor Miranda, Bruno De Carmo, Luke Bennett, Aaron Vasquez, Nico Verspicki, Andre Nant, Gal Valero, starting in P8, not a great spot for him. Tobias Soriano, Ralph Benitez, Pedro Dean, Roman Pascucci, Gasto Kulhavi, Montechico, and Zamperlini will be starting in the front of the pack, and we've seen them be in the front of the pack and actually manage to hold their own, but we'll have to see if they'll be able to do it this time. Meanwhile, out of the top 15, David Zivok, Piotr Kwasniewski, and Tim State in 18th place. So they're unfortunately going to be starting in the back, but this is really shaping up to be a very interesting first race.
Yeah, it's a definitely a lot bigger field than AMX 1, but yeah, the field is definitely came alive tonight for AMX 10, and yeah, the skill level as well is just huge at the moment. So good to see it's getting more competitive every week, and standing start as well.
All right, you're getting ready now. The music's cutting out. Engines are revving hard. We'll see the announcement for the green flag to drop in just a moment while we wait for most of the cars to load. Right now, you can see the start cam here. Very important is the launch, especially in the rear-wheel drive cars. Like this, bogging the launch means you spin the wheels, you lose a lot of momentum, and you just end up losing so much speed. As here we go, we're about to start. 11 laps. These drivers be able to make it through. There it goes, green lights are out, and it looks like a relatively clean start from everybody, but immediately Pascucci and Chico making it to the front of the pack, picking over Zamperlini's position. Zamperlini back down to third. Here comes Roman Pascucci, he's making it in front of Chico. Pedro Dean and Soriano are also making it to the front of the pack. Montechico takes that lead back again as they're coming to turn 1. Very tight, 3 wide for most of these cars right now. I think a car just got tapped at the back. I think that was Gal Valero. Putting back. And
That's Luke Bennett
He
around.
already got a spin. Luke Bennett goes around. Vesbicki also goes around. Team State still holding on to the back of the pack there. He actually got off scot-free, relatively speaking. But Valero going to be really comfortable in that P6 position. Moved up quite a few spots. And you can see Chico, Pascucci, Kulhavi, and Zambolini. Again, the top four. Starting from the back. Starting from the front of the grid. And it looks like they'll be able to hold it right now because all the other cars are battling each other. Valero and Aaron Vasquez in a heated battle for that P6. Pedro Dean is also part of that with Tobias Soriano as well. Jackson Resende, quick time in qualifying, not able to make any headway through the front of the pack just yet. And barring that couple incidents, we've got a clean first half of the race so far. We'll have to see. They're now in a single file line as they're moving on to the halfway point of the course, and it's going to be really intense. Here comes Pascucci on the inside, makes a dive, makes it past Chico, but ends up losing it, going wide, and then he just lost 3 positions off of that move.
Yeah, losing heaps of spots now. Back down to the further fields, we got David and who else we got? Juan and Bruno down the back, and now back up to the front with Zambolini. We saw him do really well in the last couple of races. Huge check-up, Gala Valero in that mix now. We got Aaron Vasquez there too, the 2 fast guys we've always seen getting around, so they're already up the front already. So Gala Valero already up 3 spots already, so he's making his way up the front. And yeah, interesting start. Gaston getting overtaken on the inside by Zambolini. Zambolini's got the move done. He just needs to commit on the brakes, and he will, and gets the move done down into turn 1. Huge braking opportunity to get the move done, and he has gotten through into P2. Zambolini is going to have to go up to Chico now, who is leading the race away by about a second. Damon, what a great start.
Really, already we're seeing just exactly how competitive these drivers are when the cars are all the same. Player skill is all that matters as Pascucci bottles it. I think he didn't make the entry, he didn't slow down enough for the entry, and we're going to see the picture-in-picture. The crash on the start there, one of the red line cars was indeed involved and immediately gets spun around as they tried to come back as well. Another car just spins on his own. Didn't seem like there was any contact back there. Tim Stick also actually getting dinged a little bit there. Came off worse for wear, so starting back where he started, finishing back where he started, I should say. I just bungled up my words right now, but Aaron Vasquez, Valero, now locked in the 5-car battle for P2. Zambolini heading that pack right now, but here comes Valero, looking for in the time, but Aaron Vasquez is just behind him. As soon as Valero makes a move, and Zambolini and Kulhavi are both going wide. I don't know what happened there. They might have forced each other off. Valero takes the opportunity, so does Vasquez, and he takes the opportunity to make a pass out to Valero as well. That's how Kulhavi slowed down quite a bit, ends up down to P6, so does Zambolini in P5, actually losing even more positions there. I wonder what happened, if he took damage or he might have taken a bit of a penalty there as well. We can't say for sure, but we're going to have to see a replay there if we get one later on. But just like that, Aaron Vasquez, Valero, 2 of the fastest drivers we have in AMX 10 are now on the podium.
Yeah, they made light work of everyone else. Here comes the battle down to turn 1. We saw this last time. We got Victor and Zambolini added it again. Down the inside goes, actually on the outside, Zambolini gets that done. Wow, great driving there by Zambolini there. Really good under the brakes there, Brazilian. That Brazilian knows how to use his left foot there. Around the outside, he's going to try and find as much grip as he can, and he's just getting pushed to the edge of the track there now. Looking right, trying to figure out where he can park the car. Around the outside he goes again. Victor's going to keep it tight. Trying to keep it tight as much as he can so he can't make contact with Zambolini at all. Oh, Zambolini's still there. Has the inside, smiling the whole way as he always is. He's still there, and they're still battling 2 wide for 3 corners. Ladies and gentlemen, doesn't get any better than that. They're still too wide for 4 corners, and they're going to go back to single file because you can't really go too wide. Victor's going to stay behind. Zambolini's just going to lead us through here. Victor straight up the inside, doesn't waste around with anything, and straight through, and here comes the train from the rest of them. Pedro
they're training positions.
Involved. Here comes the contact. Huge contact. Gaston trying to get involved with this now. Oh, on the grass. Juan there just getting on the grass there. Oh, making a little bit of contact there with Jackson Resende as well. Resende trying to make his way through, starting from the back, having pole position.
He's up 6 spots at the moment, so he's going to try and help out his teammate here. And look at this. Look at this little team of Brazilians going through at the moment. There's about 4 cars in there that are Brazilians, so they're having a really good race there. Here's the contact with Zambolini and Gaston. Bang! There it is. Oh, huge contact there.
Yeah. Yeah, Nico Harvey tried to dive him, but then Zambolini turned in, just tapped both of them and then forced them wide, and then immediately get the fastest drivers through. Here comes Vasquez onto the inside of Chico, makes that pass look almost really easy. Chico has to do his best to regain that position right now. Does have the better exit coming out of that corner right now. Won't be able to get the run, but Vasquez is still pulling up alongside him as they're coming into the right-hander. Vasquez has the inside track, Valero hanging back, waiting for an attack. Doesn't seem to be able to find an opportunity just yet. He's actually lagging behind the other 2 drivers right now, but Vasquez, man on a mission. He's just blisteringly quick. Tobias Soriano in P4, leaving the Brazilians to battle for P5 on the back there. But this is an intercontinental battle. 1 Frenchman and 2 Europeans and 2 South Americans right now just going at it. This is really something. Javier Vasquez, one of our fast drivers that we know he's fast. In fact, he's been one of the fastest drivers in AMX 10 so far, and is in fact sitting on the top of the leaderboards this season. But Gal Valero not that far behind him, still in P2, P3. Chico actually trying to find a way past right now. We're on board with the battle for, I think this is P6. Meanwhile, Zambolini and Kohavi, here goes. Benitez just goes in for that dive and then didn't slow down in time, just goes way off track. And there was a bit of a spin there. I think one of the cautions went out. That was Roman Vascucci. He's now stuck all the way down to the bottom of the pack. He's in P16. That's going to be a bad orange for him. Coming on a little bit of a tap there. That's Kohavi. He's gone outside. He tapped him on the inside and immediately spun him out. And that's the thing with these rear-wheel drive cars. Once you spin out, you almost can't correct them because they've got so much power all the way going to the rear wheels and so much weight in the rear as well. Zambolini taking that move, but not very cleanly. Now it's a 3-car battle for, I think this is P10. Edwardine losing speed, making it past Nico Vesmicki. Luke Bennett just cleaning the way past him into turn 1. Edwardine had to concede the position to them, but the battle between Vesmicki and Bennett is still going strong. Edwardine's not going to concede just yet because just behind him is David Zewalk as well. Oh man, my throat is dry. I'm sure yours is as well because there's just so much action been going on, and we're just about to crest the halfway point of the race.
Yeah, and there's the contact with Jackson Rezende made there, and look at that. Oh, just getting turned around there. Not really, he committed too much for a dive that really wasn't there. Here you go, Drago and Redline down the back battling, but back up the front, Gallo Valero and Serrano now, who are battling up the front. And now back down the back where Nico, who's Vasquez's teammate. So they're having a nice little battle there. Then back up to Chico and Gallo Valero, just moving around the field, seeing what's happening. Chico's had a good race so far, just keeping up the front. He had P1 there for a bit, but he's just going to go back to 3rd for now. Here's the battle for P10 down in the bottom right as well, ladies and gentlemen. So keep an eye on that while we watch Gallo Valero just keep nice and tight on the back of this Chico's rear bumper at the moment. Just through the S's, trying to get as much grip as possible. He's going to try and get the run. Chico's going to lose heaps of speed here. Gallo Valero's going to go up the inside, down to turn 1. He's going to have the run here. Look at the slipstream. Does Chico cover it off? No, Gallo Valero gets the move done. He's going to stay there. All he needs to do is outbrake him. And I reckon he will do it. Huge braking zone coming up. Martin's in this as well, Chico, and Serrano, that's who I was trying to figure out. Serrano's in this as well, so he's trying to figure out a way through as well. So Chico's just getting past again. So he's still on the podium, and Serrano's right behind him, and Miranda's right behind as well. So there's a nice little battle up the front. Here comes Serrano right up the inside. Oh, has a look. Almost commits the whole way. He just had a look, then backed out of it halfway. So they're just losing a little bit of time as Gallo Valero just pulls away a little bit. Now Vasquez, straight up the inside of Checo. He does not want to stay around with Checo. Checo goes straight under him and gets straight past him. Checo getting an awesome move done there. Textbook move. Oh, what a great move that was. That move never gets old. Checo has a huge slide on the exit. Checo resaving the car, and Serrano straight around the Checo and got it done.
That's the thing with these GT3 cars. The downforce all focus on the rear, so as soon as the rear gets unsettled, you just scrub off so much speed and you have to fight to get the car back under control. A little bit of contact there as Chico tries to make it past Soriano again. Oh, this is going to be intense, but Soriano gaining a bit of time. Coming out of the exit, we'll see who has the better run. It does look like Soriano has the edge over Chico at this moment in time, but they're still lagging behind Gal Valero and Aaron Vasquez, not really in contention with one another, but they're going to be pretty happy with this 1-2 setup that they have right now. You can see bottom right here, Jackson Resende was involved in the incident. I think that was Zampolini's car that he tapped and then immediately gets forced off to the track. So he's now all the way back down in P17. Tim State actually making up 2 positions as in P16. And then Jackson Resende, another incident that was just unfortunate. Fastest qualifying lap and then ends up just sacking it all. Right now, he's in the pit lane, so that's really unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, the battle at the front is still heating up. That Tobias Soriano gaining a lot of ground against Chico right now. The gap is extending bit by bit, about more than half a second separating them. But Chico is losing time to Victor Miranda. So right now, he's not in a safe place at all.
Yeah, Miranda just right there. Just he was only a second or 2 back before, but obviously with Checo battling the other competitor, he's just lost more time and using more tyre as well. So Serrano just Serrano moving away just a little bit more and moving away just a little bit more from Checo. So this is a battle that we're going to keep an eye on for a bit. So Victor is right on the back of his car now, really hunting the back of Chico now. He's had no time to breathe at all, but I don't think he'll get it this whole race. Look at that! Victor straight up the inside and takes the P4 away from him and is just going to drive through this little section, through the stadium. And, oh, great move there. It was Chico just giving heaps of room there too, being really polite. Being a very nice driver. Just see Tobias right in front, just sliding that car massively, not giving those tyres any time to breathe at all. So he's trying to pull away and keep this P3 in lock. And Aaron Vasquez absolutely pulling away at the moment in that Drago car. And I don't think anyone's going to catch him anytime soon.
Yeah, and Chico, I think he's struggling quite a bit with his car. I mean, he's gone through several corner exits. Either he's gone in too fast or he's got too much throttle at the exit and then forcing the rear to almost overtake the front. And really, he has to try his best to keep this car under control right now, because if he doesn't, he's just going to keep seceding positions. The cars behind him, as you can see, one lane out now is, now is Bruno Carmo. Bruno Carmo looking for an opportunity to make it past Chico now. So Chico, all the way from pole position, dropping down to a potential P6 position right now. You can see the time that he's losing towards Bruno here is not insignificant.
Oh, huge!
Oh, there we go.
Martin. Oh, that was a huge lock up there from Chico, and that's not what he wanted. He was in a good spot before. He's lost 4 positions, and he's going to lose another one here from Juan straight up the inside. He's going to get the move done, and look at that. The Juan's just went through as well, so on top of that. So Juan, we haven't seen all night yet, but taking a nice little opportunity to go through and not wasting any time at all. And Chico's right behind, and he's got a Drago car behind him now and a red line car, so he's going to have a bigger battle on his hands than ever. Then back up to the front, Tobias, and this one's interesting. Victor Miranda, 10 spots up, so he's come from a long way back. Same length as Aaron Vasquez at the moment. So Aaron Vasquez had a really good launch, thinking about it now, so he would have started from a long way back. Coming through the last chicane, this is a sector that some people have been struggling with, just with getting a bit of tyre grip on the exit. And it looks like Tobias just goes straight out of the corner without no issue, and Victor just following right behind down the straights, weaving and zigging and zagging, battling P7 as well in the bottom right. That's with Nico and Checo. So that will be a battle to keep an eye on as well. And Tobias just leading at the front. And yeah, it's a good little battle, Damon.
Yeah, and you can see right now he's also losing time to Victor Miranda, so you can see over the course of the lap Victor is a bit of a faster driver. But just like that, we've been talking non-stop since the start of the race, and already we've seen that we're on lap 9 of 11, and Victor Miranda looking for an opportunity to make it past Tobias Soriano. Soriano doing a bit of a defensive driving there in order to keep the assault at bay, but doesn't look like it's going to be working out too well for him as Victor Rando looks for a dip into the inside, gets the inside track on that corner as they're coming into the next left-hander there. He has to let off just a little bit because he wants to go a bit wide coming through there, keep himself in the slipstream, try to make a pass happen probably during the start-finish straight right now, and Tobias having to defend as well as he can under substantial amounts of pressure. Meanwhile, the front runners of Vasquez and Valero are just pulling ahead of both of these drivers right now, so they're locked into a battle. Right now, however, this might end up being a 3-car battle because Bruno Carmo, again, is also making up time as well.
Miranda right on the back of Checo at the moment. No, not Checo. I'm so used to saying Checo, but Serrano just on the back. And he's hunting him massively, and you can see he's locked into the snake eyes at the moment, just really concentrating. They're going to zigzag through this section now, try and find the grip, second gear. Watch this back end of this car move around and playing straight out of exit, just working that wheel all the time, never letting go at all. And Vasquez just consistently doing low 48s at the moment, zigzagging down the straight. We've seen this all night so far. Miranda on the outside. He's going to try and make a move. We haven't seen around the outside yet, but it could actually work more in the favour. And Serrano backs out of a little bit. Miranda's still there. Oh, Miranda's got the move done. And he'll have the next corner. And Miranda's got the into P3 now, so he's up 11 spots. And that actually is the biggest mover of the night so far. So Miranda doing a great job at the moment.
Yeah, using the slingshot to get past Tobias there just enough to get the outside line past him into turn 2 and then taking the inside line from there, just securing that position away from him. And Victor Miranda, very, very quick driver as we've just seen right now, but just at the back of the pack. Nico Vesbicki is trying to see if he can make it past Montechico. Montechico has already lost 5 positions since the start of the race right now. And then of the battle, that's Seawalk making it past Pedro D and Zappolini not that far behind as well. So Pedro D also conceding quite a lot of positions. And just like that, moving back to the front of the pack, this is Luke Bennett. He's losing position to Nico Vesbicki, and they're pulling alongside side by side. They're going to have to work together if they want to make it past Montechico and force him to lose even more positions right now. But you can see Luke Bennett has the inside line for Nico. Right past the hairpin, and then just makes the move pretty clean. You can see there's quite a bit of damage on Luke Bennett's car, but it seems like mechanically wise it's fine. But Nico Vesbicki, looking back to an assault, seeing whether or not he can actually make it there. You can see Nico's driver cam there. I thought he was actually in a car chassis at the moment. Now it's just the camera's position and the way that it looks like he is. But yeah, I mean,
I think the sorry to bug in, but I think his camera might have dropped, to be honest, because it's normally on the top of his monitor, so it might have just dropped, I reckon, from the looks of it. Because, yeah, it's normally at a completely different angle, and we can see all the trophies and the helmets behind. So, Nico's camera just been a bit awkward there, but Luke Bennett getting past there. White flag now, ladies and gentlemen, Tobias in P4 and Caramel in P5. Sorry, not Caramel. Oh, my God. Caramel in P5. I'm thinking about food, man. I can't think about food and commentate at the same time. Bruno just on the back of Serrano at the moment. And, yeah, teammate of Vector and Miranda. So this team's been really strong in the Porsche Cup tonight. Must be their track car combo, just as the team combo thing. Or they've put some laps in before. So, yeah, these boys doing really well. Oh, nice little close on that curb, just smacking the curb and going by. This will be the battle for P4 as well. So, this gives Bruno the extra edge if he's just behind his teammate, using all the off tracks there. He's just using every bit of the road. Does he make the dive on Tobias? No, he backs out of it. The last opportunity probably has, unless he can do it in the chicane, but it's going to be hard to do. And Vasquez coming around, and it looks like he's going to take this pretty easily.
Yeah, fast driver, one of the fastest drivers we've had in AMX 10, just like that, makes this entire heat look really, really easy there. As you can see, he's crossing the line right now. A bit of a celebratory motion from him. Valero about 5 seconds behind. He's going to be pretty happy with that P2 position. I think he just blew his engine at the finish line. What was that?
I don't know what that was. Luke Bennett with the massive slot. Nico might get the run on him. No, he doesn't. Luke Bennett got it.
Oh, good move there. Another battle here. Zambolini trying to get a move done. Huge contact in the background. Ralph off the road there. And awesome race.
Wow. Non-stop action from start to finish. These cup cars really are just the crux of the competition right now. I mean, we haven't managed to catch a break throughout this entire moment there. It was 20 minutes of just non-stop back and forth between these drivers. And I think the biggest winner is, of course, Aaron Vasquez making up 10 positions, and as well as Victor Miranda making up 11 to secure the podium finish for Heat 1. The only car we have left on track right now is Jackson Resende. He's a bit off from crossing the finish line. You can see not really particularly happy with that performance he had for this heat, especially after setting such a brilliant qualifying pace. But as we wait for him to cross the finish line, you can see the track right now is just, the front of the cars. Aaron Vasquez and Guy Valero, we've expected them to perform well, and yeah, it looks like they'll be starting at the back of the pack this time around. We'll see if they'll be able to do the same thing again, but knowing Vasquez, he did manage to pull a miracle off once. Will he be able to do the same thing again? We'll have to wait and see. Victor Miranda in P3, Tobias Soriano, great drive. Unfortunately, Victor Miranda did have the edge over him near the latter half of the course, of the race, I should say. And just like that, wow. Amazing action coming from all the drivers right now. What a great car and track combo. And our session winner on our screen right now is Aaron Vasquez. Valero in second, Victor Miranda in third, Tobias Soriano fourth, Bruder Carmo fifth, Juan Blanat, Martin Chico, Luke Bennett, Nico Veswicki, and David Zewalk round out the top 10. Wow, I mean, I don't think I'm ready for Heat 2 now.
Yeah, well, we said it in AMX 1, everyone tries to get used to the car and how the track is in Heat 1, and then Heat 2, everything goes, everyone puts their cards down and really goes for it, so this should be a good Heat 2. Here we go, lighting into it. Top 15's been reversed, ladies and gentlemen, so should be an interesting race. Here we go. Lights are up and they are off, and here we go. Heat 2. Last time we're getting in here at Barcelona Porsche Cup. Great launch there by Checo there. And 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide in the background there. 5 wide up the front, and Luke Bennett trying to get a move up the inside. Tries to get it done, lock up by the Drago car there. 3 wide contact. Huge contact. 3 cars around, 4 cars around. Never get a break in this race. Bruno's around. Guys from the last race that were just up the front there. Nico up the front though, P4. He's got a good launch, up 3 spots already. So this is the huge game from him. Luke Burnett is actually up the front as well. Nico trying to make some quick work on Juan there. Martin Checo back there with Galo Valero there, with Tobias as well. Raf at the moment versing Aaron Vasquez, who's just behind him. A little bit of contact with Raf and Dave there. Just wheel-to-wheel contact, trying to go too wide around this fast right. You normally can't do it, but they're going to try and do it on lap 1 out of 11, and they make it work. Dave gets around, and here comes Drago car. Nico goes right, left, it goes back to right, and then Ruff's just going to try and cover it, try and do as best as he can from this Drago car. We see Aaron Vasquez being a very good driver, and we expect the same as usual. So I thought that was Nico, but Aaron just sitting right behind, trying to make some moves up, trying to get up to his teammate and where Luke Bennett is, and Bennett trying to make a move, trying to make it happen with it. Can't really be happen. Bennett has a wobble on exit. We noticed about that curb. And Pedro Dean up the front as well. So we've seen him up the front a couple of times. So this is a good opportunity for him to show himself. On the outside, he's got the better run into the next corner. Luke Bennett's going to be on the outside, but then the inside of the turn 3 gets the move done even before the corner. Huge dive bomb on Aaron Vasquez. Nico. Contact. Pedro Dean goes wide. Nico's going to go stay on the track. 3 wide, 2 wide, and back into single file. Damon, you can talk. My voice is gone.
Rafa Benitez actually got forced off wide in that last exchange just before you left off. And right now, Nico Bezbiki is in P2 right now. But the biggest point of contention we have to talk about is the two drivers that ended up in 1 and 2. Last race is, of course, Gal Valero and Aaron Vasquez in P8 and P6, respectively. I take that back. He's now back in P5. Here comes the picture-in-picture replay of what happened during the race start there. I think that was Zampanini's car. He just got forced off one, and then immediately a huge incident happened that forced like 3 to 4 or 5 cars off the track, and immediately trying to rejoin, straighten up the car is going to be really difficult for cars like this. Tim State also. Tim State as well was part of the victims of that race start crash, and in a complete 180 from what happened in Heat 1, where all the drivers made it relatively cleanly out of the first half of the track. This is just chaos compared to that. And you can see David Ziwak also fighting against Gal Valero, trying to keep the position away from him, but Gal Valero, of course, we know him to be a fast driver. He's staying just behind to make sure he keeps out the hair of any big incidents. Here you go. This is the battle for P1, P2 actually, we should say. Juan Blenat is in P3 right now, trying to make it past Nico. Meanwhile, Aaron Vasquez is also closing the gap right now to Pedro Dean. Pedro Dean will probably have to end up succeeding that position if he gets the slingshot out of his start-finish straight right now. But at the time, Nico holding on to that P2 position. Juan Blenat as well, trying to see if he can make some big money moves as they're coming into turn 1, straight into turn 2. Well, is he able to make something happen right now? Aaron Vasquez goes into the inside of Pedro Dean into turn 1. Goes a bit wide for turn 2, but manages to secure the inside line for turn 3. And immediately makes it past Pedro Dean. But Jackson Resende is not that far behind. He couldn't make the move happen in time despite being behind Aaron Vasquez. But Pedro Dean still giving space. He's Jackson Resende gets to come up on the inside. Gal Valero still in P8. Hasn't been able to make any moves compared to Vasquez, who is just blistering his way up the front of the pack.
Jackson Resende up 13 spots as well, same as Aaron Vasquez up at 11 as well. So these guys are moving around. Nico in P2 at the moment. Luke Burnett, hang on, my chart's everywhere. No, Luke Barnett, I thought it was Luke, up the front and leading away about almost 2 seconds at the moment. So he's already checked out. So Nico and Juan battling it out. We've spoken to Juan before. Really nice guy. Tries to go for the move up the inside. And Nico gets it done. Oh, he's just there. And he's going to stay there. Nico's going to have to give him room. So that slows him down. Oh, Nico's been tapped a little bit. Juan's been turned around and that's it. Juan completely out of it. Not even on the podium anymore. Dropping down to P5 with Pedro Dean right behind him. Jackson Resende backing it up another spot. Aaron Vasquez on podium now, so that's 2 Drago cars on the podium with a red line car. Here's the incident as well. Resende in the incident as well. So here's a bit of contact. I'm just trying to figure it out while we're on the main straight. Oh, huge contact. Look at that. Flying off the track there.
Ooh.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he ended up getting forced.
Because
I think... Sorry. I think that was Resende actually tapped the back of Benitez's car and then immediately just forced him wide. Resende actually manages to completely walk out of that incident unscathed. Meanwhile, Gal Valero, a bit of a slower progress up the front of the pack compared to Aaron Vasquez, because Aaron Vasquez was just charging his way up. Because Victor Miranda, however, makes it past Pedro Dean. Pedro Dean losing a lot of positions this time around, both in this heat and the last. So he's not going to have the greatest race of his life right now. This race day is really showing up, especially in terms of drivers, as well as how competitive it's been lately. With 4 laps in, we didn't even notice that 4 laps had already passed, because Victor Miranda trying to see if he can make it past, I believe that was Gal Valero in that chicane. So we have to see whether or not these 2 drivers are really equally as competitive as one another, because we know Gal Valero to be a fast driver. We don't know for sure how fast Victor is, but in that podium finish last season, there's anything to go by, he's very, very fast. And Connor, you can take it back over now, because I'm sorry, I did interrupt you earlier on to come back to
no, you're good.
Whatever you're going to say.
No, I've completely forgotten everything. But Victor Miranda, no, you're a good man. Victor Miranda on the back of Gallo Valero now. Gallo Valero not having the best night so far, but he's... actually, no, apologies. I was thinking of someone else. He actually got a podium last time, so he's into P6, 8 spots up at the moment. Juan right in front of him, then Jackson Resende, then the 3 up the front. Oh, so here's the contact with Juan and Nico. So Juan's knocked Nico, then Nico's hit him back, so it's a fair game there, really. So bit of tip for tap there and play on basically. So Nico gotten out of that alive, so he's in the P2 now. Gallo Valero on board now, 8 spots up with Victor Miranda right behind him. He's trying to catch Juan at the moment. 2 teammates battling out as well, and back to Juan as well. So it's a good battle for in the top 8, really. Huge battles going on. So Tobias and Pedro Dean in the battle as well. Pedro Dean was up the front before, so those two have been kind of going at it. Then teammates. So let's see if this will battle, like if they'll battle or if they'll play nice and try and catch on to the back of Luke. But Luke's almost 4 seconds out in the front, so he might be locked away for a win for the red line driver now. And now now it's down for the podium spots now, which is the 2 teammates. So I wonder if anyone else can interrupt this little battle. So Jackson Resende in this as well, and Juan, like we mentioned. Oh, Nico getting a bit of a slide, so Nico's going to be in this battle now. So he's out of his teammate slipstream just for now until they can get on that back straight. So Jackson Resende could throw a move up the inside through here maybe. We've seen him do it before. So why would he not do it again? Does he go for it? No. Juan is just... Jackson actually can't do it because Juan's right on the back of him. And Nico's going to get away from it. And Aaron Vasquez is going to try and catch on to the back of Luke, which he's pulled in almost 5/10 out of it already. So Barnett could be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, Bennett's been holding on to the lead pretty comfortably, but with Aaron Vasquez chasing him in P2 right now, it's going to be a tough battle to hold it on until the end of the race. We've got about 5 laps remaining, which means we're past the halfway point of the race. Pedro Dean again losing another position to Tobias Soriano. Had a really bad start, did Tobias, but managed to claw his way back up to the grid. He's now in P8, so relatively good spot for him, all things considered. Meanwhile, the battle between Gallo Valero and Victor Miranda is also heating up. They're very, very close to one another, which means it tells me they're on relatively equal pace to one another. So maybe they can work together and make themselves further up, make their way further up the rest of the grid, because we have Jackson Resende on a recovery drive, realistically speaking, from Heat 1, where he ended up finishing dead last, but in a better spot this time around. As we can see, we're on board with the battle between Gallo Valero and Victor Miranda right now. They have to work together because they want to close that gap between them and Juan Blinat in order to make the battle for P3 a reality. And oh man, really need time to catch a break right now, because you and I are both completely out of breath. But it's not over yet, as the battle keeps heating up. Yeah. Between Gallo Valero and Victor Miranda, there's almost no time separating both of them.
Yeah, for sure. These two, like he said, they've kind of got to not battle to catch up to this pack. So Miranda could be on the back of Jackson Resende, which is his teammate, but they're basically fighting for P3 at this point. Aaron Vasquez has pulled out completely. He's about 1.4 up the road, so there's really no big shot of catching him if they start battling. So these guys will just be locked in at a P3, and I reckon Jackson Resende would be happy if he walked away with it from a P3. But at the same time, Juan's right behind Gallo Valero and Victor Miranda battling. So Victor's going to go through, and Gallo Valero is going to let him through. So Victor can catch a little bit, and Gallo can just kind of just chill there and save a little bit of time until they get onto the back of these guys. Juan trying to make a move on Jackson Resende. Does he throw it up the inside here? Jackson Resende on a huge defensive drive at the moment. Juan's going to try and go around the outside. Jackson Resende with a bump. Oh, a cheeky bump. That was a very cheeky bump. So Nico's going to get a bit of fresh air from this now. Jackson Resende getting a little bit as well. Gallo Valero and Victor are actually catching up to this battle now. So this should be a 5-car wave battle for P3 now. And it doesn't look like Nico's going to be out of that tow yet. So unless Nico can pull out a couple more 10s, he's still in this.
Oh, Hardly not really trying to make it past Resende here. Oh, a little bit of defensive swarming coming from both sides right now. If you have to be really careful with that. And now he makes it a move on the inside, a little bit of a shoulder up, telling me, oh, you're not playing fair. I'm not going to play fair, and forcing Jackson Resende going off a little bit, giving time for Victor Miranda and Galvalero to now catch up to this battle. So now it's a 4-car battle for what looks like to be P4, as Juan Lena is leading the pack right now. Ooh, cheeky bump and touch between these two drivers wasn't really sportsmanlike, if I can say myself, not knowing really what the relationship is between these drivers. But Galvalero still trying to make headway because he wants to catch up to Aaron Vasquez. Remember, he is very clear, far apart from Vasquez in terms of leaderboard, but he wants to maintain that P2 spot. So he has to make up a very good position. Meanwhile, on the front of the pack, Aaron Vasquez, his lead was about 2 seconds earlier on. It's now down to 1.5, so he's definitely catching up to Luke Bennett. We'll have to see whether or not he can actually catch up to Luke on the end of the race. As here comes Victor Miranda onto the inside of Jackson Resende. Will make the pass happen, and now Jackson Resende has to fend off Galvalero to give his teammate an opportunity to pull away and catch up to Juan Blenat.
It looked like with Jackson go really defensive, he's lost out a lot of positions there, so that's not very good for his race at the moment. He's lost 2 positions out of it, so he's probably let his teammate go through so Victor can use a little bit more time, because Victor hasn't battled yet. He's really just been in the clean air, not been really doing much, so he'll have more time than Juan or Nico. So if they can catch up to Nico, which does look like that is a possibility at this point in time, Juan is catching up massively. So, yeah, it's definitely not on off the cards yet for Nico to be in P3 confirmed yet. We're on lap 8 out of 11 now, so Aaron Vasquez is only a second away. He's only a second. I reckon he'd just be getting a sniff of slipstream now. So we'll keep an eye on that battle, and we'll get to that when they get closer, with Aaron Vasquez actually starting the 12 out for this year. So Aaron Vasquez definitely knows what he's doing in top splits. So in P6, Jackson Resende just catching onto the back of Juan at the moment. Victor, sorry, I forgot Victor was there. My apologies, Victor. But Victor trying to catch onto the back of Juan, and here's the battle for Luke Burnett and Aaron Vasquez. The lead for Heat 2 of AMX 10, last race of the night. Let's see this happen. We haven't seen these two battle yet, but we've seen a red line driver go at Aaron Vasquez, which was Florin last time they were in the P Cups. So this should be a good battle.
Oh, it's going to be really tough to call. Luke Bennett was in the lead for quite some time now, but he loses a lot of time to Vasquez in these sectors right now. You can see Sector 1 already making up 0.2 of a second, so Vasquez so much faster than him in this particular sector. We'll have to see what the difference is when they pass Sector 2, because it looks like the gap is ever so slightly narrowing. I say ever so slightly, it's actually been a huge time difference in terms of making up time. You can see losing another 0.2, so now he's in the red. Ooh, Vasquez literally breathing down the neck of Luke Bennett right now as they're coming into what I think is going to be the penultimate lap of this race. And Vasquez, if he keeps his pace up, he's probably going to make the pass happen onto Luke Bennett before they even reach the final lap. Ooh. Meanwhile, you can see the picture-in-picture on the bottom right there. The battle for P3 is still going strong with Juan Blenat now onto the tail of Nico Vesbicki. And looks like he's going to make the move happen onto the left-hander, right into the right, slides out the cover a little bit. Ooh, where did he go? I think he disconnected.
Oh, no. Oh, no, hang on. Juan's still there. Victor Miranda's actually in a P4 now. Nico is under pressure from 2 of them now. Nico weaving down to the right-hand side of the track. Victor on the left-hand side. Victor's having a great night at the moment. 10 spots up at the moment. Meanwhile, the red line driver and Aaron Vasquez are going at it, battling away. So these two battles are going to be huge for the end of the race. Vasquez on the outside tries to go under the red line driver. Doesn't commit. Luke knows he just needs to sit in the middle and not really do much and do nothing really drastic. Luke trying to cover the inside, so Aaron Vasquez can't do anything, so he's going to have to go the long way around unless Luke opens up the door so Aaron can go to the inside, but he can't because Luke is parked like a bus and he's going to drive on the exit. Absolute beautiful battle for P3 in the right-hand side at the moment.
Oh my god, we're having to use both our eyes to look in two separate directions. It would be great if I had the lazy eye, but I don't, so we can only focus on one battle at a time. Meanwhile, see, we take out the picture right now. Luke Bennett is still trying to fend off Aaron Vasquez, but Aaron Vasquez taking none of it, trying to go out on the outside. As they're coming into the hairpin, looks like he might just make the pass take, but he loses it a bit on the exit. Lets the car slip a little bit, giving Luke Bennett even time to pull away, but not by much. As the next right-hander here. Oh, Luke's under severe pressure. You can see the amount of concentration that both these drivers have. They're about to pull up into the last chicane, coming into the final lap of the race, I believe, very soon. So Vasquez really going to put on the drive of his life. The one-lap magic is about to begin at this point. He's in the slipstream for the start-finish straight, though he could be slingshotting past into turn 1. You can see, yep, he's going on, he's swerving in, he's swerving out, he's pulling alongside as they're coming to turn 1. The right-hander, Luke goes wide, Vasquez takes the position away, immediately to the right-hander, clear of Luke Bennett into the second part of turn 2, and then turn 3, and immediately just pulls clear of Luke Bennett. Luke Bennett, I think he slowed down for a bit there. Not sure what happened, maybe he took a penalty, but immediately after that, Vasquez pulling away 1.5 seconds, 1.6 seconds clear.
And Vasquez is going to take this win. Luke Bennett in second, and he's going to have to hold for it. Nico, Gale Valero, and Jackson Resende. Huge battle with Juan as well. Juan trying to get around Valero. Jackson trying to hold it up the inside. Gale Valero trying to go around the outside. Juan's on the outside now. 3 wide into the corner. Juan still trying to keep grip there. Oh, 4. This will be a battle for 4 cars now. Gale Valero trying to go up the inside. Jackson Resende covers, goes through. Single file, no double file yet. Nico's going to pull away, so he might be in slipstream by the end of the at the end of the straight. But this battle is on for the real. Oh, Gale Valero trying to get some grip. Looks like he's shooing away a fly at the moment. Under brakes, Jackson Resende trying to cover as much as he can without compromising the exit. Jackson Resende just going to park it like a bus through the stadium. Jackson still holding it, Oh, he's put the hand up. Oh, Gale Valero trying to make a move. Juan's trying to go up the inside. Juan's going to stay there. Gale Valero trying to go around the outside. Juan's going to bump Gale Valero. Gale Valero gets bumped. Juan's going to go through. Juan goes through. Juan takes it. Race winner, Aaron Vasquez.
Just had to put a stop to that entire situation right now. Juan Blenat with the final lap move onto Gale Valero, forcing him wide and losing that position, losing that battle entirely. Tobias Soriano also just unable to catch on to Gale Valero near the end there. But man, what a couple of heats that was. I think this was the most intense hour I've ever had in AMX. I mean, holy crap. Pardon the foul language, but damn.
That was one incredible race. Tim State coming around the last corner with Zambolini, and Tim State's going to be in front of Zambolini. Zambolini not having the best Heat 2 race, but he had a great night when we came to Magna Crawl, so not the best night for him, but he will take it home, and coming across the line as well for our last driver. Great race in the chat. I'm out of breath just quietly.
I mean, you and I both, but out of all of that, Aaron Vasquez with the double for Heat 1 and Heat 2, pulling up ahead of Luke Bennett on the final 2 laps of the race. That's your session winner on camera right now. Victor Miranda, another 3rd place finish, so he's definitely one to look out for if he decides to continue with AMX 10 on Saturdays here. Nico Vesvicki holding on to P4, Juan Blenat. Brave move, clearing up to P5, Gale Valero behind him, Tobias Soriano, Roman Pascucci, Bruno De Carmo, Ralph Benitez, Pedro Dean, Gaston Kulhavi, Martin Chico, Jackson Resende, and Tim State actually making it into the points with that 15th position finish. Let's take some time because we still have to do interviews, right? And I need to catch my breath before I get into that. But oh my god, oh, I'm out of breath, man. I know you are as well, and I'm out of water completely because I was drinking, trying to catch my breath as well. Throat's completely dry, so. But oh man, definitely one of the most intense AMX races.
Yeah, massively. Yeah, that's probably the only one that comes to mind was I think last week was GT4s at Sebring, which was pretty intense. But that was a whole different level. I think Barcelona and Porsche Cup is just I think the standard now really for AMX. That was insane, just insane. I was running out of water, trying to chug down water so I'm not absolutely drying my throat out completely. But yeah, it was incredible. Cars were sliding around, track was hot. It's good to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to take a couple of minutes just to ourselves right now because I am sweating like crazy, and all I did was watch. I mean, what more can you say about a race like that? It was such intense from start to finish. Heat 1, Heat 2, I mean, I almost couldn't tell that apart. It was all just a blur because it just felt like one big round of just pure insanity and energy that I just haven't seen being matched by anything that I've dreamed so far. So we're going to jump into the interviews with a couple of drivers. I think Luke Bennett is going to be up first. So just give us a moment to get set up and we'll come back with you in just a short bit. Hey Luke, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
All right. Qualifying was great from your side. Heat 2 results were also pretty good. Heat 1 was a little bit weak, but I haven't really seen you on Saturday's races, so I just wanted to get your thoughts on how everything transpired today.
It's obviously great fun to race in AMX. It's quite a different format to what we usually see in other series. It's always nice to jump in and then have a bit of fun. Qualifying was okay. I was fairly happy with it until I saw the pole time, and I thought there was absolutely no chance in doing that. And then in Heat 1, just got caught up in a couple of shunts, had a bit of damage. Same in Heat 2 actually, had quite a bit of damage after lap 1. But that's racing, so I'm still happy. I had fun.
Yeah, you managed to hold on to the lead all the way until the very end when Vasquez overtook you, and then I think you may have taken a bit of a slowdown after that, which was a bit of unfortunate circumstance.
Yeah.
But regardless, the P2 finish is still really.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. Shame about the slowdown at the end, and then I couldn't battle with Aaron much more. But it was fun.
Yeah, I really want to see whether or not I could get you. Will you be around for the last 2 weeks of AMX as well on Saturday?
I am unsure at the minute. I would imagine so. It's my job to do sim racing, so I imagine I'll be here.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be great to have you back again because I know you've given our top drivers a good run for their money. That was really amazing driving till the end.
Thank you.
So, before we move on, I just want to know if there's anyone to thank tonight.
Yeah, well, just thank you to Team Redline, I guess. Always there, always behind me, and thank you to AMX for putting this together. It's nice to have a partnership with you guys.
Thank you so much, Luke, and we hope to see you again for the next couple of weeks.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right. Hi, Aaron. Congratulations on the Heat 1 and Heat 2 race victories.
Hello guys, what's up? Yeah, I'm very happy with the race. I don't expect this result because I don't practice nothing, so I'm very happy. The first hit was a very good because I overtake a lot in the first corner, so I'm very happy with that part. And then I push, and I can overtake the other guys in the race, and finally I get the win in the first hit. And in the second hit, it was a great race also because at the end of the sting I fight with Luke Bennett, so it was a very good fight. And then I can overtake him and I get the win again.
Yeah, I think when you overtook Luke Bennett earlier on, he ended up with a bit of a slowdown penalty, so he couldn't really contest that position away from you. But as you said before, you said you didn't really have that much practice, but you seem very, very comfortable with the car. How is it to drive?
Yeah, with this car it's so difficult to manage the tires because if you slide a bit in one corner, you have bad tires then. So it's very difficult, but I can manage very good in this race. I go with careful and calm, and then I can manage the tires and I can push at the end.
Okay, so we've got about 2 weeks left of AMX 10, and we know that you are currently pretty far ahead of everyone on leaderboards right now. So the performance that you put on is really amazing, to say the least. So any messages you want to send to anyone that's watching?
Yeah, always thanks for Drago for the support, and thanks Nico for letting me buy in the race because they told me I am fast and he want to let me buy, and thanks him. So thanks Drago again, and thanks my teammate, and yeah. And one thing more, congrats Luke for the fight, and for the other guy for the race, and keep pushing.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll definitely be happy to say that. And I think you will be competing with him again in the last 2 weeks of AMX 10. So I think you can look forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna do the last 2 race. I think it's GT4 in Spa and GT3 at Interlagos, I think. So I'm gonna do because I'm fighting for the championship and I want to win.
Yeah, everyone wants to win, but I think you have the best chance of doing it.
Yeah.
So, again, congratulations on the race 1 and race 2 victory, and hope to see you again for next race.
Thank you. See you.
Right, we've got relatively short and sweet interviews with both of them because we... I'm gassed, man. There's just no other word for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm normally not speechless. That's why I'm kind of a commentator. But it's weird. The race was just so jam-packed, and yeah, I don't know. No words. It was just an amazing race, and I think all the teams, were just racing so well. Everyone was on point, and the battles were good. We saw, Jackson Rosende and Juan going at it, tit for tat every corner, and then eventually, Nico as well. So yeah, it was good to see everyone's just really going at it and not leaving anything on the table, really.
Yeah. So to all of those that are watching right now, tell your friends. This is what AMX is all about, okay? We've got high intense action every week. We've got 3 race days a week. If you're joining in now, you might be a little bit late, but regardless, we've still got about 7 race days left, so it's still gonna be amazing to watch. And if the next few races are gonna be anything to come by, and if it's up to this standard, whew, we are in for a wild ride, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
we're going to cut through the results now. Oh, sorry. Continue with what you were going to say before we move to the results.
Yeah, I was going to say if the next 2 weeks are going to be even close to that, I think it's going to be a very good couple of weeks until the end. Should be good.
Definitely looking forward to that. And here we are with the results. Aaron Vasquez, of course, your overall winner with that Heat 1 and Heat 2 P1 finish, walking away with $82. Victor Miranda as well, with a consistent third place finish in both Heat 1 and Heat 2, will make away with $56. Luke Bennett, fast qualifying, fast Heat 2. Unfortunately, Heat 1 did bring him down a little bit, so he'll have to settle for third place. Meanwhile, Gal Valero in fourth, Bruno De Carmo in fifth, Nico Vesbicki in sixth, Juan Blena in seventh. Oh yeah, there's a tie between Nico and Juan Blena, so they're both in P6 right now. So P7 will be Toby Soriano. Jackson Rezende, off the back of a pretty subpar Heat 1, will be in 8th place with Martin Chico in P9. And just like that, that signals the end of race 27 and the end of the Saturday night races. But you guys will have to stick around because we are still 7 race days away from the end of AMX Global Season 4, and we definitely hope to see you around all the way until the end. Meanwhile, if you want to check up on updates, you can check us out on our socials down there. We have Instagram, Twitch, X, formerly known as Twitter, Discord, YouTube. Any results as well will be uploaded to our website, amxrace.com, as well as short form content on TikTok, which I predict will have quite a few highlights from this particular race, I should say. Oh, I think Connor's muted his
I
mic.
can imagine that. Yeah, I've muted it again. Yeah, I think there'll be a few highlights for the guys to go back through, and I feel bad for the production team. They're going to be sitting there for a bit.
Anyways, thank you guys for all of you that stick around until the end for watching. And I'm Damon. I'm joined here by Connor, and we're signing off for tonight. See you tomorrow for race 28.